across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, very good evening to you. Yes, I'm here in the studio, but not for very long, as I'm falling apart inside, but I do want to try and do as much as I can before I can't do it anymore. Lady W is floating around. She's in a furious mood with me coming into work, so she's just here, you know.
Well, it's good you come in, man.
She might come and grab hold of me and drag me out in a bit.
People will be glad to see you, actually, in the studio.
Well, I don't know after we start the programme whether anyone's going to be glad at all. Yeah. I've got a bit in my tongue which makes it.
What'd you do that for?
Well, fun. I was bored.
Well, give us a ring on 0344
No, let's not be silly. But to anybody else who is in the final stages of cancer, you have my sympathy. I know exactly what you're going through, and you know, I know I look basically okay. Yeah. And everybody says, "Oh, you look all right." And
you do, yeah.
It's
all makeup.
It's all makeup, yeah. Lots of makeup. Why didn't you put any makeup on?
I did, but I think I use Dr. Dave Balls again.
Oh, you shouldn't use that. You should use mine. Anyway, listen, if you want to call in, it'd be good to hear from you. I'm not going to be here for that long. I don't know how long my voice is going to go. And the problem is I have, with breathing, with tumours around my lungs and various other things. And the fact that somebody, me probably, forgot my jacket.
Yeah, you like Jeremy Kyle today. He does it without the jacket.
Yeah,
it's more business-like.
Feel a bit more Jeremy Kyle. Yeah. I would say, and I'm sure you say it when I'm not here.
I say a lot of stuff when you're not here.
Oh, good. That if you're easily offended, it isn't the show for you. If you get upset, triggered, any of that, you shouldn't.
No under 18.
Good. Well, it would be very rude of us to assume somebody's a certain age, but good. Okay, so what I thought we'd do while I was here today, if that's okay with you, talk about some of the news stories. I mean, the whole thing about white British minority in the UK within the next 40 years, I think is very worrying.
Well, it's already in big cities like Birmingham and London.
Or is it not? Hang on. You know, do countries have a right to maintain their colour? A lot of countries on this planet have not maintained the colour they started off at.
I don't think it's colour, it's culture.
I think you're right, it's culture. Yeah. But we in Britain don't seem to be keen on culture. And that's
we want
why
British culture, we want to keep the British
but
culture.
we haven't been prepared to stick up for it.
No, exactly.
So maybe we should. Yeah. So that, I would like to do a little bit of that. Is it the end of reform? Well, personally, I hope not. I think we need some more political parties. I think we need more the better, the difference the better. But some people seem to go into politics purely for their own ego. Excuse me, I've got indigestion.
Well, that's normal.
And I suppose finally the story everybody is talking about, and I've been talking about it since I started work in the media in the 70s. And that is, should we ban the burqa?
Well, it is in other countries, including a lot of Islamic countries. I think in Morocco, you're not even allowed to manufacture burqas. So,
No, I don't want any of my regulars on to begin with. I'm not going to take any phone calls, so I get the first one who's never phoned in before. And I haven't even given the number out.
It's very rude. You haven't given a number.
Gets all excited. Says, "Oh yeah, get this." Oh. Hang on, let me test this out, see if you're listening. Roy in Hampshire. Roy.
James, mate, I just want to thank you for your service, what you've done over the years. God bless.
Thank you, Roy. That is really nice. Really nice.
What about the burqa, though?
Will you stop? Well, I'm having a conversation with my listeners and viewers.
Wasting our time, isn't it?
Roy, what do you think about the burqa?
Well, I was thinking about it today.
Yeah.
What happens if, say, down Regent Street or Oxford Street, you get 20 or 30 of these people all dressed up in the burqa, somebody nips into the jewellers, robs the jewellers, comes out, and they're all amongst them. Who did the police arrest? What good are the cameras going to be?
None.
Yeah.
None at all. So
When I used to be a minicab driver or a private hire driver, and I remember going to a house and these 3 women came out in burqas. I had to take them up to the hospital, and they sat in the back of their car, and I was uneasy. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And you know, when people came in with the masks on during COVID and everything, you know, what's the point of all the cameras we have up in our towns and cities, yet the majority of people don't get punished or even arrested? Absolutely right. I agree totally with you, Ray.
You shouldn't be allowed to have your face covered, whatever it is.
Roy or Ray?
Roy.
Roy, yeah.
Roy.
I agree totally with you, Roy. Thank you for your call. Now, listen, if you want to call and you've never called before, the first couple of minutes of the programme, it's always nice to get people who've never done it before. And I haven't got time. Are you sure? Is she a never rung before?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they're lying to me, are they? The number to call is 0344 499 1000. Angelina in Darlington.
Darlington, yeah. I was wanting to speak to James about what he felt about English dogs.
I'll put you through.
Just a minute.
I'll put you through to him. Hold
We
on.
need to give her the once over.
Yeah, what are you sure
Yeah.
you're not going to be rude to him, are you?
What about English dogs?
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
He loves dogs,
Just
he
a
loves
minute.
dogs.
What's your name again?
Angelina.
Right. And what do you do for a living?
I used to be a psychiatric nurse and I used to work with homeless people as well.
Rubbed off on you. And what do you what do you want to talk to James about? Dogs.
English dogs.
Well, I was wondering, I lost my old English Bull Terrier just under a week ago. She was 21.
Blimey, that is a good age.
Oh, yeah, how old she was. I've still got Yorkshire Terrier running around. He's 21 as well.
Flip.
So what are you worried about English dogs losing the breed?
Last year I lost 3 dogs that were in their teens.
Yes.
And they
French dogs.
French dogs, and they all went in the same year, which is really sad.
But did they come from the same breeder?
No, I don't do that. I rescue dogs.
Yeah.
Don't go to breeders. Nobody should go to. There are too many dogs that need housing. You do not need to go to a breeder.
Yeah, but you want a nice new one, don't you? Not a second-hand one.
No, but I was just thinking, like, I'm just grieving, I suppose, at the moment. I don't know what to do.
Well, I'll tell you what. Don't do anything for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then ring in again, and we'll get James hopefully to talk to you.
Does it have to be an English dog?
You're talking to her again. I just finished.
English sheepdog?
She doesn't want your old dog.
Well, she wants to be put through to James.
Yeah, but he's busy. He can't take
he's
every
busy.
call, can he?
Sorry, he can't.
I understand that James. I understand James is busy, and all I want to say is I really respect you. You are doing such a great job, and thank you so much for making me laugh every week.
Angelina, it'll all fall into place when it needs to. Let me tell you that. Getting a new dog, you will either meet the dog, or the dog will meet you, obviously, and it will all fall into place. Okay.
My mother always says that. She always says the dog will find you first.
Well, what a wise lady your mother
Just
is.
wait till the knock at the door.
Thank you, Angelina. Nice to talk to you.
Got some messages for you.
Just a minute. I'm just doing this call. Mark in London. Hello, Mark.
Good evening, James, Mr. Legend of journalism.
All right, Mark. All right. Let's not go there.
I
You know
think
it
it's talking about
embarrasses
me.
me. What can I do for you?
Right, going back to the Burka, we knew someone about 15 years ago, a female, who actually tried to rob, not a bank, what's the
Building society.
building society in a Burka.
Well, you could try and do lots of things. Why should anybody ever let you in a shop with your face covered? Now, a burqa, the face covering isn't, or any of it, it isn't part of the religion of Islam.
No.
It's a fashion that some people want to follow.
It's been banned in a lot of Islamic countries.
Yeah, agree. I totally agree. But the thing is, how comes you can drive and not have your phone, like, even on a speaker or that, but yet you can drive a car with a burqa on, like, looking for a letterbox?
I have no idea.
You
It's
do
the most
lose peripheral
ridiculous
vision,
thing.
because I nearly crashed into someone like that once. Cause
What, when you were wearing your burqa?
I was wearing my burqa and... No, but yeah, you're right.
All right, mate. Thank you for your call. Nice to talk with you. Liz is in Southfields. Shields.
That's London, isn't it? London, Southfields.
Oh, is it?
Hello, James.
Liz, where are you?
I've never phoned before, but I watch you every week, and I think you do a marvellous job.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Liz.
And I hope
And she listens.
I reform all the way.
You're for what all the way?
Reform all the way.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Well, maybe there'll be other political parties you might like even more in the future. But what the main parties are trying to do is get rid of any chance of having diversity as far as politics is concerned and a choice.
Did you see in the Burka debate, they all acted shocked, Parliament, when she asked the question about whether they went, it's ridiculous.
But it's a question that's being asked over and over again.
And he totally avoided it. Totally avoided it, the coward.
He shows he's not a good Prime Minister.
Well, we all knew that.
Exactly.
Every single decision is incredibly bad.
Liz, good. Thank you very much indeed. Now, you wanted to do something.
No, I've got you some messages here. We've got a load of flooded in there. They don't make them like you anymore, James. What a work ethic. Well, I mean, it's good.
I think they were on the other computer.
Yeah, I think that means the other shows, James, when are you no longer able to present the show? Will it be Ash Unleashed? I'm always unleashed. They don't make them like you, James Wales.
No, I don't want that. Right. Okay.
There's an English bulldog. Very ugly.
Listen, shut up, all of you.
You've broke it with your fumbling fingers
Chuck,
again.
come in here and sort it out. Chuck, please. In the meantime, I will talk to who was on.
Wayne, the Lincolnshire poacher. Wayne, your mate. You love Wayne.
Wayne, you're very lucky to get on. Then they knocked everything else off. Chuck, can you come in and do what I asked? Honestly,
I could try. I can give it a go.
Ash.
I probably won't.
No, you probably won't.
Wayne.
I think when we'll have a beauty contest. We'll go.
No, you've broke it.
Wayne.
I'm a bit concerned about the red arrows at the moment.
Who am I talking to?
Wayne.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's Wayne in Lincolnshire.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, Wayne, go on.
Well, James, I'm a bit concerned about the red arrows. They're asking to dip our hands deep in the pocket because of the running at £80 a day cost.
What?
And we need some new jets.
He's worried about the red arrows, needs some new jets.
Well, hopefully, eventually we'll get some, but let's get some that can defend.
Yeah, we need a military.
The country first.
Well, I said, I'd be quite happy to do that if I knew there's going on the front line instead of doing loop the loop.
You're talking rubbish as usual. Thank you, Wayne. Bye bye. I hope that didn't trigger anybody.
I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit triggered.
Yeah. Have you got to those questions, Chuck? For me, what are you doing?
You need to come and press the thing. Teresa in Devon.
Chuck, here.
Hello.
All right, Chuck. Teresa.
Leave Teresa off from here. Don't worry, Teresa. You'll be on in a minute. What are you doing?
He's fixing it. Yeah, he's going to fix it.
No, he keeps fiddling with things. He basically wants to know what's going to happen to him when I'm not here.
Yeah, but I'll get sacked.
You will.
Back to where I was.
Okay, I'll leave you to do that. We've got some nice, but it's very nice. You send in really nice messages, which I don't deserve and are very much appreciated. But you can't go through doing a programme just saying.
He's done it.
Yeah. Well, because Chuck is the main producer.
Right, here we go. Read those.
Read a few of those, and then I'm talking to Teresa.
Do you want me to read? Sorry to hear of your illness, James. You and I didn't always see eye to eye, but I always respected you as a presenter, so you've always been fair to your callers. Well, you've been listening to the wrong programme. Anyway, God bless and take care, James. Michael, a.k.a. Christian Chris. And please ask Angelina, well, she's gone, what food she gives her dog's pedigree chum, and please pass on my condolences about her other dog. There's only one James Wales, even though he's called Michael. Been watching and listening since the mid-'80s. A true media legend, often copied but never bested. Oh, you've broke it again, haven't you?
They're all being nice to me, and I
think you
can't have
clicked
it.
that one.
Teresa, you're on the air. What are you
Hi,
doing?
James.
I'm talking to Teresa. You're
Yeah,
too
I think
slow.
you do that. You click that one.
All right, Teresa.
Hi, James.
Hi.
I'd just like to say thank you. I've listened to you for 35 years plus, and it's given me great pleasure and joy listening to you every day. What an amazing person to listen to.
You're very sweet, but I might get another couple of shows in yet. I'm not going completely. It's just
no, I just
tonight
don't know.
I got to the studio. Stop, take a breath, listen. I got to the studio and it's affecting me badly. I can't breathe very well at the moment, as you can probably notice, but I'm going to do up to the first break, and then I'm afraid I'm going to go, because I do live quite a way away, and that knackers me as well. But Teresa, thank you very much indeed. I do appreciate it. Do you know, the interesting thing was, somebody said to me once, why did you get this reputation? And when I started off on the...
As the rudest man in the country.
I didn't start off like that. Somebody gave me that title.
Yeah.
One of the daily papers gave me that title. And suddenly I found I could communicate much better, because everybody in the media, or most people then and now, they just want to be loved.
Yeah.
And it all gets really boring.
They're not real, man. They're not real.
And you, unfortunately, are a pain in the backside, and I felt sorry for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So we
very kind of you.
looking after you.
Very kind.
Is that Macy?
Mooey.
Mooey.
Hello, James.
Mooey?
In Abingdon,
Hello.
Oxfordshire.
What sort of name is Mooey?
Well, it's my Twitter name, James. You've liked a few of my tweets before now, but you get tweeted a lot, so I don't expect you to remember. I couldn't let this opportunity go to say I wish you all the best.
Well, I'm not got Mooey.
What?
You're making me friggin' ill. Stop it. I have not... Listen.
Make you ill, James.
Listen, Mooey, shut your mouth.
All right.
Shut it tight.
Oh,
I am not intending on going anywhere for the next couple of months. And this isn't my last ever show. It's just that I've come in tonight and I'm not feeling as good as I thought I was when I came in. And I'm just explaining a bit, because last time I came in and we did a bit, it put in the papers everywhere that was my last show, and I said, and people just sort of, so I might have, this is the thing that happens, those of us who are terminally ill, and listen to my podcast I do with my lovely wife once a week called Tales of the Whales, and that explains more. Living, and loads of people in the media now, well, they've always done it. They've come out. I didn't want to do it in that way. I wanted just to say what it was like to have cancer, and for the last 2 years, nearly a year and a half, I've tried to talk about what the what it is like. And until very recently, you know, everything was quite normal for me, wasn't it? Really, you know, everything was fine. And then you do get to a stage like I am now, where things get to be very, very difficult. Mooey, use your real name when you're on social media. I'm going to make it illegal, okay?
What is your real name, Mooey?
Not to have your real name.
Angie?
Angie.
Why are you hiding from people?
I prefer Mooey.
Well, I'm not. I'm not really. It's just that lots of people just know me as Moo or Mooey.
Why do you moo a lot?
It's been a nickname. And I've just always loved you and Ash. I understand that what you're going through. I lost my husband a couple of years ago, and I just want to say that I've loved the pair of you for years. And no disrespect to Mrs. Well, but I've gone to bed with you two for years.
We know.
You can cut me off.
We've enjoyed it very much.
Well, listen, thank you very much indeed. You know, I did say that my wife was listening, and that wasn't a very good thing to say, but there we are. Yeah. Thank you, Angela. Thank you very much indeed. Let's do 2 more calls before the break, and then I'm going to...
Joe in Nottingham.
Yeah, Joe in Nottingham.
Joe. Hey,
Hi,
Joe.
guys. You all right?
Yeah, Joe, what can we do for you?
Nice to see you back on the...
Let's not go there, Joe. We'll take it for granted.
Yeah, well, I'm happy anyway. I just wanted to...
I'm happy you're happy.
Oh, I'm happy you're happy too.
Oh, I'm happy you're happy.
I just wanted to ask you what you thought of Ed Davey wishing everyone happy Eid on the day where it's VE Day.
I think Ed Davey, I know Ed Davey, I've met him a few times. He's like all politicians. He wants to be loved.
And he looks like Wayne Rooney.
And, yeah, he does. And his constituency have quite a lot of Muslims in it, and I suppose he wants to do that. We never bothered with other religions' special days years ago.
No.
We didn't really bother that much about Christmas and
Well, they
Easter.
still don't much now.
But all this is just a load of twaddle, and Ed Davey, quite frankly, should be ashamed of himself.
Well, I think so too. I completely agree with you, and I just think it's disgusting that he's done that on this day in particular.
Yeah, D-Day, yeah. It's D-Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good to talk, Joe. Hopefully we'll talk again. Louise, final call.
Tunbridge Wells.
Hello. Hello. How are you both? I hope you're well.
Yeah, well, we're fighting fit, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Stupid woman.
Oh, good. I just wanted to ask Ash, because I love you both, but I think Ash is brilliant. I love his voice. And
Bye, Louise. You're boring me stupid. You know, you're the worst caller I've had for years. Oh, dear.
Oh, no. Yeah, messages, here we go. Mr. Whale, I have followed your journalistic views for many years and have never been disappointed. You have strength and tenacity, and I applaud you for such. You are a legend. Much love and best wishes, Les in Cheshire.
I don't think the last caller would agree.
Pete the Mole says, you are the greatest, James. There will never be another Whale. And Pete the Mole always tells it as it is. Hello, James. I used to ring you in the old radio air days back in the 1930s. I was a very young 18. I loved you then, and at the age of 56, still love you, mate. Regards, Ian Brown. Not that one. Oh, Cindy in Michigan. Howdy doody, and have a nice day.
Okay, let's have Cindy on. I was going. Cindy, what can I do for you? I'm feeling a bit knackered now, Cindy.
I know. I just wanted to say before you go, maybe you could get Miss Sadie W. to make an appearance. She's so pretty. I love her too.
Lady W.
Let me see. Well, pop in and say hello.
She wants to see you.
She said the last thing Lady W said to me, don't call me on the air. I have no makeup on. I'm not ready to do this.
But she has today.
Oh, then I respect that.
No, she's coming in. She's got her.
She's coming here. She is an amazing woman. She put, we fell in love in a very quick amount of time after our previous wives' husbands died.
I've just come to say hello to
there she is.
Cindy.
Into my... Oh, darling.
Lady W. Tell her I love her.
She says she loves
and
you.
I love that how she cares for you. Because it shows how much she cares for you.
Isn't she beautiful?
And I love that.
The only thing sometimes at night, and I'm sort of half asleep.
Oh no, what's he going to say?
I think, oh my God, why is Ash? Because their hair
We look
is
very similar, yeah, we do.
Ash, when Ash knew how much I loved Deanie.
I was very jealous.
He let himself
Very
go.
jealous, yeah.
And I shaved my beard off so you don't get as confused.
I know, yeah, that's why she had to do it.
She does not have a beard.
No, not anymore.
Do you think I've done enough now?
Well,
No.
yeah, we'll see how you do, but you do well.
Well, I love you, baby.
Another 15 minutes, sir. Another 15 minutes. Well, look, let's take a break and let's see if he's back after.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, welcome back. James Well Unleashed. Unleashed so much that I'm
just
going to
done
go.
a movie, I'm putting it on.
I'm going now because my lungs are feeling pretty difficult. Lots of you know who've got cancer. It's the different things that affect bits. You know, you get indigestion, you get winds, you get
terrible wind,
asthmatic,
no more than usual,
and various other bits and bobs. So I really enjoyed this. Thank you very much indeed. With Kinsey Schofield, who is
your number in the
the
phone. Yeah, Kinsey says your wife's a hottie.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Well,
yeah.
Kinsey, you know, anytime you want to come over, I can arrange a little dinner for the two of you. What do you given to me?
Just put your number in because your face isn't working.
For lunch? Why not?
Mangiatoire.
You see, you guys have got such appalling mics.
I know.
You really have.
I know.
I'm going to go outside and have a little fix on the inhaler. And make the world seem a better place.
Make it a better place.
I can't hear you guys.
You've got a call though, Terry in Midhurst. Terry.
Hello.
All right,
Ash.
Terry. Yeah.
Hello, Ash. You okay?
I'm all right, man. What's up, man?
Listen, please. I've been watching your show and obviously the channel for a while.
Yeah.
I'm a bit upset because the channel has been showing adverts celebrating Eid.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, we can't really. We're not allowed to talk about the adverts, but you know.
Oh, I know.
Who pays the
I know
bills?
it's not.
Yeah,
I know
who pays
it's
the
not
bills?
down
What's
to
going on?
you,
I
so-
leave and we get an idiot. What is going on?
He doesn't like the Eid advert.
Well, I'm
But we
not
can't
very,
really
I'm
talk
not very
about that.
keen on religious adverts of any sort.
Yeah.
So it's bigots that, like you, that cause the problems.
Oh,
Somebody
come on,
wants to
James.
advertise their religion. Jolly good job.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but I'm allowed to give my opinion.
You've given it, and I've given you mine. What's wrong?
Well, I don't like having Eid rammed down my throat.
It's not being rammed down your throat. When an advert comes on, you can always go and make a cup of tea.
Well,
I wouldn't have coffee in your situation. I'd stick to tea.
Not this time of night.
Okay, well, thanks anyway. Nice to talk to you.
That's how it works. Ah, pleasure.
Another satisfied customer.
You know, I don't like having it rammed down my throat, but I don't. Honestly, I don't know why people would advertise a religion anyway. We could ban all religion.
What are you
Oh,
doing?
sorry, I'm
Why are you-
undressing. I'm going.
What are you doing? Taking your stuff off?
Well, let's see how good you are on your own.
Okay, so James Wales, this is your
Whale,
life.
Stop doing that. You've got a chance here to prove that you're not terrible.
You were born in
And you're not-
1931, and no. You know, let's interview people who don't
Can I
know
have
really about your
somebody
history.
in here? Look, I'm sorry, guys. I've got to go. I feel
going.
really bad, very breathless.
No, all right, man.
And I don't want to be like that.
We'll take
And
a
I did
break.
ask you not to do that.
No,
But you can't, you know, if you want to take over when I'm not here,
No,
you need to actually do a better job. Oh!
Okay, we'll take a break here. Back in a couple of minutes.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's the James Wells show, but he went, didn't he? And so it's just me now. There's no one else here at all. Let me just read some of these messages out. Hi, James and Ash. Mr. Whale, I'll read that one. Pete the Mole.
I'll tell you what I'll do.
Who are you? What's going on? What? If you're listening on the radio, it's Andre Walker. Woo, yeah.
Well, it's great to be here, but unfortunately my dinner was slightly interrupted by being dragged in.
What were you having for dinner?
But okay, well, I'll tell you what, it was the worst food I've ever had in my life.
Oh.
But okay, no, actually it wasn't.
I'd like to know about it.
But where do you want me to start with these comments? Okay, do you want me to read them or you'll
No, you do
read
it. You're near.
Okay, James Whale is an absolute legend of Talk TV. My hat comes off to him for still taking time to share the news and rip stupid people. Sad to see his frail life, how frail life has made him. It'll sad to see him go, but he will present forever. Somebody else said, James is mad, but it's seeing you tonight is wonderful, and Mrs. W is always 1,000,000% fantastic. Ash, can you please cut your hair?
Go down, because I've already read the ones.
Okay, what about this?
These ones, yeah.
James, you are being extra rude tonight, and you're being nasty to some of the ladies. Now, by the way, do you know what his driver said? You know he's got a driver. Yeah. His driver said, oh, he was so tired this evening, he didn't even shout abuse at any cyclists on the way over here.
All up for when he got here.
Fantastic. James, you're a legend, the truest, in the truest form. Keep on fighting. And look, it's not for me to make a comment on any of this, but what I will say is...
from Ali.
Anybody who is suffering from cancer should learn something from James Whale to keep going and going and going.
Well, he felt all right this afternoon. That was the thing, and then he just kind of felt a bit rough. So he will be coming in again. He just felt, you know, it just hit him quite hard tonight.
Anyway, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This is Andre Walker and Asher Gould. It's not for us to lament or talk on James Whale's behalf. Certainly, I have no right to do it. So what I want to do now is I want to go to the calls, because it's for you to talk tonight. This is the James Whale show. Andre Walker jumped in. Oh, I know you all sending messages going, he's better, he's better, he's better. I know that. But anyway, let's just go to Violetta in St Albans. Violetta, you're on Talk.
Oh, wow. Hello, boys.
Hello.
Hello.
Jamie boy going off. Oh, no, sorry. He has by now grown up, so he's James.
What?
And I love him. Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that.
Well, we can't, because we've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now you will have.
No, but I don't. Don't call him Jane, because he's grown up.
James is James. And it's the only one who has ever dared to call me stupid.
He did call you stupid once, didn't he?
Yeah,
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Violetta. Calling somebody stupid was probably the nicest thing he's ever done.
Yeah, it's a compliment from James.
Yeah, that's right. At least he didn't cut you off, right?
I think he did.
Violetta, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't want to lament on the James Whale thing, because it's for James to speak on his own behalf. What do you think about the proposal or the suggestion that we should ban the burqa in Britain?
Absolutely, yes.
Why?
The 0 times that we had it in the first place here, Burka, and I do know a little bit about it. Burka is a total blockage of any kind of communication of human beings. And that is the sign of the Islamic revolution. If I can see somebody's eyeballs only, I can't judge their BMI. I can't see anything.
The mannerisms, yeah, you've got it's a communication.
Yeah, but what stops, Violetta, what stops me saying on Eid that actually I know so many, you know, public-spirited, you know, religiously observant, community-spirited, decent, God-fearing Muslims. And I don't believe they're trying to run the Islamic revolution. I don't believe that they're trying to, I don't know, do any terrorism or whatever it is that they might be accused of. I think that if you wear a burqa and you're not Saudi Arabian and you don't live in a country where the sandstorm, I think that's rather silly. But at the same time, there are people who, I don't know, walk around in barber jackets when they live in the south of England, in central London. And, you know, I don't know, right? Does it matter? I mean, if you wear something stupid?
It does matter.
Why?
Because it shows that they are putting the block on the communication. Because I need to see the person to be able to communicate. There is not a problem. Can I just tell you, I've got an Arabic surname, by the way. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
does that give you more right to talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does give me every right.
I know.
So, but hang on a second. I see teenagers walking around all the time making a political statement with their clothing, looking fairly idiotic. Yeah. And I think, you know what? Enjoy yourself. Get it out of your system.
Kids wear balaclava, especially in Manchester. I've seen. They shouldn't be allowed. People shouldn't be allowed to have their face covered.
But look,
in public.
by the way, just to be clear, I said yesterday, and Ash has heard this already. But just to be clear, I don't know what Asher thinks, but I imagine he agrees on this. There is nothing in the Quran to say you should wear a burqa. Yeah. It is to Islam what a raincoat is to Christianity. That is, some people in Christian countries wear raincoats, but there's no religious requirement to wear it. So let me ask you this question, Violetta, which is what we're all dancing around. Is wearing the burqa when you are not Saudi Arabian, when it's not your traditional dress, and you are not in a country where there's sandstorms, where it's actually quite a useful item, are you making a statement about Islamic nationalism?
Yes.
And why do you say that?
Because my ex-husband had Syrian and German origins.
Yep.
British, and I have been to Syria before the war, and I've seen and I've met his extended family, which were absolutely adorable. All of them educated in the international school, speaking English. Some of the women have worn white scarves in Syria, and some did not. So I've asked one, why are you not wearing a scarf? And she said, because there is nowhere in Quran that it says that I should wear a scarf.
Yeah,
it is my relation to the God, and that is it. It is a different religion. But wearing a burqa, I'm sorry, I've seen them.
So it's not even offensive to a religion. It's basically don't cover your face the same as if you're wearing a balaclava, which should be a bit disallowed.
Can I, Violetta, wait for a second. Let me ask Asher this question, because I want to understand this. Because people are messaging in, and there's a couple of things. Is it manifestly stupid to completely cover your body in a country like Britain? Yes, obviously, that there's no practical purpose for doing that.
So people don't worry about the body, it's the facial covering.
So that would be silly. But some people are saying it is a political statement of hatred of the West, but other people are saying don't care what a statement it is, it's just frightening when you can't see people's faces.
And it's subjugating of women. I mean, people say it's up to the woman's choice. Well, you can bet in a lot of households they do it because the man makes them wear it. You know, we saw in Iran women burning their face, you know, they didn't want to wear them. They don't want to wear it in the main. A free woman doesn't want to. And also, like you say, it's unfair in communication. She can see what your face is communicating, but you can't see what they're communicating.
By the way, surrender Serena has been in touch and says wearing the burqa does matter at the school gates. It's intimidating for
they'd
children.
be scared of it.
Here's the question I want to ask everybody.
Okay.
I completely understand how it is your right and your tradition, not if you're from Pakistan or Bangladesh, but if you happen to be one of the very small number of people from Saudi Arabia living in Burnley, I think that's probably 4, but okay. But if you are one of those people, maybe that is your tradition. But what about my tradition of saying, if you wear a black bag over your head, it's incredibly terrifying for children because it's associated with spooks and ghouls and all that sort of thing. Why can't I say it's your tradition to wear that, it's my tradition to be terrified of it?
Absolutely. And let me tell you the story of 20 years ago when I have fished up my son from the school and he told me, Mommy, we've got a ghost on our playground and her name is Mrs. La La La. And I realized
a ghost, did you say?
They were petrified of her.
Well, I will tell you something. Mrs. Khan, Mrs. Mohammed or whatever, might be one of the nicest people in the world. But if I was 4 years old and her and 3 of her friends were to walk down the street in a full burqa in broad daylight, I would be petrified.
So was my son. And the other kids.
By the way, okay, Violetta, thank you so much. We're going to go to a break now, but what I'm going to say to you is, burqa, there's been some amusing spellings of this. Somebody has messaged in, and I'm just going to read out what they've actually said. It really is time to ban the burqa. Amen to that. More next.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, this is Talk, and this is the James Wales Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. For those of you who've just tuned in, don't worry, James Wales has left the building. He presented the first bit of this show. What we've been doing in the past couple of weeks is he presents as much as he can, and I take over from there, and then the ratings go through the floor. But you know, we are where we are. Okay, all we're going to do is we're just going to go straight to the calls. Jim is in Knutsford. Jim, you're on Talk.
Hello.
Hello.
And by the way, I quite like you.
I like you too.
I've seen you talking on the Tommy Robinson thing, so it's quite refreshing to see you.
Well, I've got to be honest with you. You know, I think the whole media are so scared of saying that when some people are right. you know, the reality is Tommy Robinson shouldn't have done the things he did in terms of, you know, committing crime this and committing crime that. But actually, I do think that he is symptomatic of a problem. And that problem is that we're not standing up for working class people in this country, the backbone of this country, the people that saved this country so many times. And, you know, one thing that we try not to do on this show is belittle these people because we love them. Centre of this community. Anyway, Jim, I'm talking over you.
Right, yeah.
By the way, Knutsford ain't a working class area, is it?
It's got a great service station down Knutsford.
Actually, but we get a lot of bad publicity about, Knutsford, it's very rich, it's all this.
Yeah, you got Alderley Edge and the Mere Golf Club.
Yeah. We got the Mere.
I remember when I was a young Conservative.
Supermarkets as well, so ordinary people like me that grew up.
You all drive Bentleys round there. I've been there.
Yeah, so that's the thing, isn't it? I remember when I was a young Conservative in 1995, they had that Bentley dealership opposite Tatton Conservative Club, or Knutsford Conservative Club, and you used to go down the stairs and he used to say, "God, this is bad. This is Tatton Conservative Association. Member of Parliament Neil Hamilton." That didn't last for.
But actually, they have it where footballers drive past. A lot of times by the Villa Ground there was a posh car shop. Because the footballers drive past and then pick one up.
So can I ask you about Knutsford? Is Reform going to win in Knutsford in Tatton? Surely not.
I bloody hope so, because I mean I'm just an ordinary working class bloke. I grew up, Knutsford was a market town.
Market town, it were proper market
town, yeah.
And now you're a multi-millionaire.
We had ordinary people, and everybody knew each other, looked after each other, and now all of a sudden these houses are springing up everywhere for £400,000-500,000, and it's become the...
Which is a lot up north. That gets you a flat down here. Up there, that gets you 20 acres stately home.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Here's the thing that worries me. I mean, it's a bit different kind of down south, but up north, and particularly in tourist areas, maybe in Grasmere or whatever, in the Lake Districts, and people have examples in Brecon and places like that. It just seems a shame that the local community's been eradicated. When I lived in central Windsor, there was always kind of a line, which was the original Windsorians lived in Deadworth, which people disparagingly called Deadrough, which I thought was a disgusting thing to say about people. But also the big nice properties in the centre of town went to people like me who'd moved in, who'd made a couple of quid.
And the Deadrough would do the gardening.
And I always thought it was kind of a bit unpleasant, that.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, round here it's the same.
But do you get the pub like in Harry Enfield?
The gardening for the rich and anything. You're just trying to earn a living.
Do you see the rich down at the pub? Because often that's where the working class and the nobles will meet and have a pint and a sherry.
Now it's like £6.50, £7 a pint.
Yeah.
What? In the north of England?
One place and
Right. No. I'm sorry. We have to stop the show now. We have to stop. When we talk about beer prices, it now becomes serious. Nothing that you've heard before is as important as this.
No.
Sorry, £7 in the north of England?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they try and pretend they're in London up there because of all the footballers.
Can I tell you, right, I'm now...
Somebody's bought an old pub in Knutsford and he's charging £9.
It's probably an ex-footballer or something, yeah.
£9? £9? I'd want the pint and the missus for £9.
That's the
I'm being totally honest.
William Hague used to pay that for 14 pints.
So I remember. So I think I can't remember how old I am. About 46. Right, I tried to forget, but I'm 46. But when, my 16th birthday, which is 30 years ago. Now look, 30 years ago sounds like a long time ago, but in historical terms, it's not that long. We went for my 16th birthday and illegally drank in this pub in Bolton. Can't remember the name of it, but it was £1 a pint. Now, a pound a pint was a little bit cheap, but it wasn't crazy cheap. It wasn't like a third of the price or whatever. You know, a pint might have been, say, £1.70. and we were paying the pound.
I remember when I was at one of my last outdoor raves, a kid called Rollo, a posh kid in Gloucester, and Big Dave was going down the garage. It was like, went on for a few days, and I said, "Oh, Dave, get us 20 Marlboro, and here's £3." And I haven't seen him since. But that was that was £3 for a packet of 20 fags in about 94, 93, and now they're about 17 quid. So £3 to 17 quid.
Well,
now.
even more than that in Knutsford.
So look. So
if you're listening, Dave, you owe me 18 quid now.
So Jim, you've touched almost on the cost of living crisis, which is this. I ask this question to people, and I look at the team here, and I look at the people I walk past. I cannot understand how anybody can feel rich at the moment, right? So as an example, imagine it was marvellous for you, and you earned £100,000 a year. Wow! And you tried to live in central London, where a 2-bedroom flat is £800,000. You'd still be poor, right?
100 grand isn't enough even for a kid to start unless they want to. You can't afford it.
And then we've got, and I don't want to be disparaging, but we've got members of staff working on this show who are, maybe £25,000, £30,000 a year or whatever. I can't. Now, by the way, I'm not criticising this company. I can't understand how, on a normal wage, you can survive when your energy bill goes up by £400 a month, and you're on 35
And your
grand.
rent's 1,200 at least a month, probably 1,500.
It's laughable. I mean, I was born in 1957. I paid national insurance since I was 17, and my pension is £930 a month.
Wow.
Which would normally be all right up north, but nowadays even that.
Well, yeah, it would have been, but...
Yeah.
I worry about it, and what I worry about is just the dejection that the public feel about
young
this.
kids, they can't. I mean, if anything, you rent, you'll have no money to ever look at to buy a house, and then you're seeing everything going up, and so that's why you've got kids now just spending it on holidays and coffees because they think, well, I ain't gonna be able to build.
Well, that would be the smart move in a sense.
Well, no, but then you're paying. You don't realise you're paying 10 quid a day on takeaways.
Oh,
and
sorry,
that adds up to about £4,000 a year.
So what I meant was. Giving up on the prospect of buying a house might be the smart move. I mean, I remember, living in Windsor just once again. I thought to myself, these kids going to Windsor Boys' School and Windsor Girls' School, I almost felt that what we should do was, when we launched our campaign for local council, was to stand up and say, you will not be allowed to live in the community that you grew up in. Because if you want a house on the street you grew up in, you're going to need £800,000. Now, there's going to be loads of people who'll say, well, bloody Windsor, south of England. Oh, lest we forget that property in Burnley has trebled in price in the past 30 years.
It's now £280.
I mean, you try and get a cheap flat in central Belfast, which was the cheapest major capital. The cheapest capital of the United Kingdom. Forget it. Edinburgh, Glasgow, these places. Oh, you go. Oh, don't worry. Oh, it's cheap as chips in Newcastle. Forget it.
Yeah.
Only migrants can afford properties now because we're paying for it. That's what your national insurance and tax is paying for.
That's why my youngest lad is living at home. He's 36 years old.
And does he want to leave the country? I suppose he doesn't. He's got his family here, but I mean, does he see any future?
I mean, we love him and he loves us.
Yeah.
And we would never, ever turn him out.
Yeah.
But the point is, he could never, on his wage, afford...
And it's not nice for him, and also you would like your own life together as well, and it's sort of ruined that whole way of life, hasn't it?
I think there's a cycle.
We worry about him when he gets older.
I think, Jim...
When we pop our clogs, what's he going to do?
Well, he'll be your nurse.
Jim, I think there's a cycle here. And I think this cycle is... Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think there is a process that's taken place, and it's this. You cannot afford to give your family a family home because you have to buy one home for yourself and one for a migrant. Therefore, you don't have any children. Therefore, they bring in more migrants to replace the children that you don't have. Therefore, you need to buy more accommodation for the migrants. Can I give you a statistic before we go to the news that is going to shock you? In the past 10 years, let me ask you, what percentage of migrants that have come to the United Kingdom arrived at the border and said, we've come here to get a job? What is it? 14%. 14%. And that means that 86% of people have shown up at the border and said, give me money because I deserve to suckle from the teat of the
rest of our lives.
people.
And then we've got AI coming, which so everyone's we're all going to hell in a handcart, and we've got another financial crisis looming that this time we won't be able to bail
And do you know
out.
what you should say? Do you know what you should say to your Labour politician? You know what you should say to your Conservative politician? You know what you should say to your Liberal Democrat, SNP, all the rest of them? There's others as well. I think you should say, stop telling me immigration benefits the country on the basis of doctors, because there's not many of them.
0.6% come in as doctors, and I think 0.8% as engineers. So there's your answer.
14% have come in to contribute to the economy. Now, I will tell you, let's do the basic mathematics. That means that what have you got? Six people living for free with one person getting a job. How much do you have to earn? Jim, thank you so much. That's Jim in Knutsford. Now, listen, we are going to talk to Bex in Essex, but we're going to go to the news first. What a weird hour, but we're getting through it. 0344 499 1000. This is the James Wales Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould, and we'll be back just in a couple of moments.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is The Late Show with Andre Walker. And no, it's not, sorry. This is the James Wales Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. James did the beginning of the show and has now legged it, Baylor, off to Kent. So, Bex, from Essex, you're on Talk.
Hi, Andre. Hi, Ash. Can I just say, Andre, you're looking very, very dapper this evening. You look like you're.
I'll tell you the reason. I'm the worshipful master of the Kensington Battalion Masonic Lodge, and we had a dinner in Grand Lodge when I got a call going, hey, I'm not going to do my full show tonight. Can you come over? Yeah, I can, because that means I can have the dinner, do all of it, and then get paid for a day's work as well.
I like this look. You just need a top hat. So next week, can you come in with a top hat?
I've got a morning suit.
It wouldn't fit in the shot.
Do you remember that obnoxious little man, James Max? Right. I remember during Her Majesty the Queen's morning, I wore full morning dress, right? The full thing. And he went, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "It's full morning dress because we're in mourning." And he went, he apparently still works here. Anyway, I didn't know. I thought they sacked him. We like James Max. James Max is a really good bloke. He is not an arrogant, pompous, obnoxious git.
Oh, I love
He's none of those. He's none of those things. He's none of those things. Right.
Let's move
Bex,
on. I don't think anyone noticed. Let's just move on. Bex, so what else did you want to say? You what?
I'll come on to say one thing, but I've actually changed my mind because I was listening to Jim.
Yeah.
And his conversation. So the first thing I was actually going to say, and I don't want to get caught up on this, but I think you talked about the burqas, banning the burqa. I think if everyone in society was to wear a burqa, all of us, they'd have to ban it because they wouldn't like that for their facial.
So we all wear burqas. It's a good idea, man.
Yeah, because then
it was like my idea that I proposed to Julia Hartley-Brewer. What we should do is we should all self-define as women, and we should have the attractive, fragrant ones in one bathroom and the hairy ones with beards in another bathroom. Job done. Simple. Very simple. Easy.
I think there's still be
after
complaints.
listening to Jim, it interested me because Jim was talking about his son living at home at 37, and obviously because, you know, everything's so goddamn expensive. I'm 33, I still live at home with my mum.
Happy birthday.
Because I just cannot afford to...
Whereabouts in Essex are you? Now, by the way, you don't have to answer. You're a caller rather than a guest. So, but
you
roughly.
should do because it's the second biggest county, Essex.
Yeah, but the thing is...
No, sorry, just to be clear.
The question.
Just to be clear, there's multiple Essexes, if you like.
In Colchester,
there's kind
Mersey Island.
Sorry, there's kind of the Romford, which is very Londony. Then there's kind of the middle belt.
We need to know what sort of Essex girl you are.
I'm in the worst part of Essex, which used to be Essex and is no longer
Romford.
Essex, which would be Dagenham.
Dagenham. I love Dagenham.
It's the worst part.
The old Ford
It's
factory,
shameful.
down there. It used to be a quaint little village till they ruined it with all that building.
By the way, can I tell you the reason why I love Essex? And I've always said I love Essex. The reason is you can laugh at Essex, you can make jokes about these people, but everything's bought and paid for. They have a culture of going out to work. They
Loads of money. He was from Essex.
But well, he wasn't. It was Harry Enfield. But the thing is, if you don't like fake tan, that's fine. But it's all paid for by a job. Nobody sat on benefits mucking around. Do you know that if you are from Essex, you're 3 times more likely to have founded a company than if you're from Lancashire? I think that's impressive. I think that's great. We love Essex.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't live there.
Say
but
that when it comes to Dagenham,
I wouldn't live there. You can't put yourself.
There's some beautiful historic areas in Essex.
No, I wouldn't live in Essex. You can't put yourself at risk. No, I'm joking.
It's a very historical place.
I used to work for the Member of Parliament for Romford. Are you from Essex? Anyway,
Samara's here.
Samara Gill is here. She is a broadcaster.
She's here for our press preview.
And she is here for the press preview. Are you from Essex?
I'm very far from there, but I wish I was. I like the Essex way. I like new money, you know? I like all that.
Do you?
Yeah, because I agree. Like, they're entrepreneurial people who will stand up for what they believe in. That's what I respect.
Are they Butte Bonza?
What?
Butte Bonza.
What exactly?
I'm speaking
Define
Australian.
the term,
I'm
Andre.
speaking Australian.
What is Butte Bonza?
Butte means beautiful and Bonza means fantastic. Listen,
Absolutely.
I watched Steve Irwin, right?
Yeah, rest in peace, Steve.
Yeah, I
National
did.
treasure.
He said Butte Bonza. So like if you're having a good night in Essex, in Australia, how would you express it? Would it be Ream, like Essex, or would it be Butte Bonza, like...
I've never had a good night in Australia, I'm not going to lie. I mean,
fair dinkum.
Fair dinkum, mate. And put the shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah, some crustaceans on the barbie.
Do I? No, because I'm vegetarian. I am antithetical to everything I stand for. That's
Right, I just want to say one thing. In the break, I had a ticket to to an event to Royal Ascot in a private tent. I've got a friend of mine who owns his own vineyard where he makes his own champagne. He's having it specially brought in. Do you know what? I was going to invite you, largely because you're quite tasty. But if I'm being honest with you, I'm not going to invite you now because vegetabilists are not allowed.
No, I will do what I have to do.
Yeah, well, you'll have to eat some meat.
I will do it. I will eat meat to get inside the tent. Yes.
I can't believe I just said that.
Andre.
That was not intentional. That was not intentional.
Right, press preview. Let's start with the Sun. And the Sun, cops will never pin Maddie on me, says...
come on, this again? Really?
Nobody says suspect, sick letter by rapist. Madeleine McCann finds suspect. Christian Bruckner has gloated that police will never pin the case on him without a body.
I just want to say one thing to you about this, Samara. I don't know who killed Madeleine McCann. I'm not a police officer. And we can read about Christian Bruckner and we can read about all these things all day. And we can say the McCanns, even though they've been exonerated, acted in a bizarre way. And we can say all that. But here's one thing we can definitely say. Under the Schengen Agreement, it is perfectly possible for this man who is a sex offender to do a runner from a criminal charge in Germany and make it all the way to Portugal without anybody stopping him. This man, whatever Christian Bruckner has and has not done, he's been convicted multiple times. And what he has done is he has used open borders to go from place to place in order to avoid prosecution. If, and I'm not saying this happened, and I don't think anybody else is either, but if one were to attempt to kidnap a baby or a toddler, in Portugal, you could drive that child to Poland and nobody would stop you. How is it sensible? Look, most of us, we just get a passport out. It's 10 minutes to go through a border. How does it make any sense to have open borders like this when there's so much danger? This man was 17 years old. They wanted to throw him in prison for a sex offence. He moved to Portugal and nobody stopped him because they couldn't.
Absolutely correct. I agree with every word you've just said because it's very, very easy to traffic people across the border. That's the issue with the Schengen area, as you very rightly pointed out. The thing is, and it's actually, I don't want to bring this back to migration, but that's the very issue with the migrant crisis is that they've basically gone through about 10 different countries before they reach our shores. And, they say, oh, I wasn't safe in my home country. Well, you came from France. You probably traversed from Turkey to then maybe Germany, then to France, and now to the UK. And we don't know who you've discussed your plans with or who you've been connected with while you were there. So I agree, there's a very unsafe element to the Schengen area zone.
So people, if they're regular James Wales viewers or listeners, won't necessarily know what my view is on this. But I am perfectly happy with this rule, having seen it in Ukraine, whereby you go to the nearest safe country. The vast majority of people in Ukraine went to Moldova, Poland, places like that. I mean, Moldova had 350,000 refugees and a population of 3 million. OK, if you are in Denmark, if you are in the Irish Republic, if you're in Norway, if you're in Iceland, if you're in France, Germany, all these countries, you can come to the United Kingdom as a refugee. And people did from Belgium, obviously during the Second World War, and people did from other countries. Sorry, Belgium in the First World War.
When they were actually in need.
Yeah. Now, I'm perfectly happy for you to continually hop. And that is to say, if you leave South Africa, and then you go to Zimbabwe and find Zimbabwe is not safe. And then you go to the next country, you go to the next country, and in that total chain, there are no safe countries until you come to Britain. Come to Britain. What I don't approve of is if you get to Belgium, if you get to Denmark, if you get to Sweden, if you get to Germany and go, just don't like the benefits here. I will tell you something, Samara, I'll tell you, the viewers and listeners, ordinary women and children fleeing the war in Ukraine did not look at what benefits were available around the world. They'd have pitched a bloody tent at the border, except we forced them not to and go into hostels.
Well, being a refugee means that you take refuge. It means you go back. And that's what the Belgians did in the First World War.
One question. Why did Poland just elect a leader who wants to stop all refugees, including Ukrainian ones?
And Poland's sorted now. They've sorted their country out.
Why did Poland just elect that?
Well, President Sandu of Moldova has had problems recently, and you're going to be stunned by this. So Moldova, having taken more refugees than any other country on earth recently, because obviously Moldova used to be the poorest country in Europe. Now, obviously, Ukraine is. I mean, that's fairly obvious. But little Moldova, little Moldova takes all these people, and what happens is Moldova's never had refugees because normally people
Moldova's never had electricity. I mean,
correct. But why did they go to Moldova? Because it was just over the border and it was safe.
Yeah,
Here's what happened in Chisinau 3 weeks ago.
God, we're going geopolitical.
Well, when there was the day of action by Ukrainians flying the flag in the town square in Chisinau, people demanded that they leave. And do you know why? They said, don't fly the flag of another country in our country. We've been nice to you, but if you don't like us, screw you. Now, can you imagine that happening in London? Where you get
arrested for flying the Union flag in this country.
You go, hey, hang on a second. Moldova is an ally of Ukraine. Don't fly that Ukrainian flag near me, because this is Moldova. Get back to your own country. Can you imagine that happening in London?
I can't imagine it, because actually Eastern Europeans really feel nationalistic about their own country. They know their history. They know what their ancestors fought for. Over here, we have this massive self-hatred towards ourselves. It happens in Australia. It happens in Britain. We loathe our own background and history, and that's part of the issue. So we would never do that, but that's because we're very soft-touch and we're very... We'll assimilate to you, not you assimilate to us.
This is why I'm sitting here saying I'm in all my gear for the Freemasonry. That is our tradition. That is our tradition.
You're one of very few, Andre.
Eid Mubarak. More next.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Well, I'm in trouble for talking about the Moldovan long coup d'etat.
Let's do more about Moldova.
Shut up.
No, OK. The Sun and Clarkson, why I'm nothing like Gwyneth Paltrow. What? I could have told you that. I could have told you he's not like Gwyneth Paltrow, is he?
You don't exactly have the six-pack abs, Jeremy. I mean, what's going on here?
Sorry, that's not the only thing that's different. I mean, I can't believe you focused on the abs.
I mean, she's kind of known for them.
But does Jeremy Clarkson have a candle?
Yeah, it smells of his...
A candle of cheese?
Yeah. It does. It smells of his
farm.
Homegrown cheese.
Yes.
I mean, when she made that candle, which we won't refer to in full, did she go... I mean, what was the spatulas involved where she had to work out the scent?
She spoke about it. She was like, oh, my marketing executive came up to me and he said, wouldn't it be great if we had a candle that smelled like your hoo-ha? And, that's kind of how that came about.
Is that the Australian word, hoo-ha?
I mean, what am I
Lady
doing?
Gaga.
I prefer front botty.
Oh, OK. Well, different
You could have it with Megan's jam, couldn't you, at the same time?
Oh, what is your problem? What is your problem?
Oh, my God.
Eureka, I am an alcoholic, but I've been dry for a year. Well, that's a different matter, isn't it?
I hate people who say that. I hate people who say that. They go, I'm an alcoholic. I haven't had a drink in 30 years. Well, you're not an alcoholic then. What you are is a whinger, right? No, you are. Come on.
No, you're always an alcoholic. That's the thing, isn't it?
No, some
That's
people
what you
work
have-
on their sobriety.
Yeah, but apparently you have to always say I'm an alcoholic, even when you've given up, to make sure you
Do
don't drink again.
No, but when you go on and on and on
Yeah,
about
it becomes their whole
Listen,
personality.
Can I tell you something? There's nothing I like more for breakfast than a quart of vodka. No, I'm joking. Only slightly. But like on a serious note, right? Just have a just do your thing, right? Do you know what I hate? I hate the monoculture, Samara. You know, oh, I've got this problem, I've got that problem. I mean, I had to admit to having 2 gouty feet the other day. It's embarrassing.
It happens
right?
to everyone. I mean, the
A bit of ibuprofen and some warm cold water, you'll be all right.
I was talking to my US friend and she said, "Oh my God, I've been at A&A, I've been in Los Angeles, and I've got a real drinking problem." And I was like, "Oh, like how did you get there?" And she goes, "Yeah, I was having like 6 drinks a week. It was horrible." And I was like, "Are you joking? That's
what you do in the morning.
Do you know what happened to a friend of mine? And I will say, just as a health warning on this, clearly, you know, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I can only tell you what happened to me. I had a friend of mine who made £5 million when he was 28, selling a company, and he phoned me up. He must have been about 32, and I said, I said, mate, come down to the pub. He went, Andre, I'm in rehab. What the bloody hell are you doing in rehab? He said, I'm an alcoholic. I said, you're Irish, we're all alcoholics, for God's sake. I said, get out. He said, no. I said, thump the security and get out. But you know what I then said to him? I said, the reason why you're unhappy is because you've just lost your wife and your kids are not living with you. Forget the booze. Forget all that rubbish.
Andre the therapist. I love it. No, that's true.
Yeah, really, it was a real bad job. The guy then became an alcoholic. He made it a lot worse.
No, what he did was he did order an Uber. Well, I ordered it for him. He got out of the rehab. He did get through the security. We did go for a beer, and then he turned round to his ex-wife and said,
"But you took your friend out of rehab for a beer."
Yes. Yes. And then he phoned up his ex-wife the next day and said, I'm unhappy because I don't see my children enough. He's never looked back.
Okay, there's a lot to be said about that, which is, you know, the time.
None of it is the pressure.
So you
taking
say
people out of rehab.
Keep
Let's have a
drinking
look at that.
is your advice.
Yeah.
Right, the time, Saturday, squeeze on services, pump cash into NHS, health set for 30 billion, boosting spending. But never mind all that, let's see. What's King Charles doing? He's got a big pair of headphones on, and the reason
What makes
is...
me laugh about members? Do you know what makes me laugh about members of the royal family? All those medals, they ain't done anything. Do you remember James Windsor, Viscount 7? I mean, he's only a little boy. He's only 15, so I don't want to have a go at him. But he's now Earl Wessex. But he had a service medal. He had a service medal from the Jubilee, and apparently he'd won at age 13 because his gran asked him for some advice. Of course. And that was a service medal. So he had his first medal for that.
Well, Prince Harold won the best aviator ever in the year, didn't he? Legend of Aviation, which people weren't happy about. There's the King Charles, who is Captain General of Royal Artillery, and embraced the chance to fire an L118 light gun on a visit to the regiment's headquarters in Wiltshire. So he fired a big gun. That's why he's got the
that's
ear
nonsense.
protectors on.
It's just a good picture.
He does look.
Also,
he looks
what
good,
you don't know about the Pope, the new Pope. I mean,
what you don't know about the Pope with the new Pope? Yeah, what don't we know about him? He's American,
know a lot.
and that's what do you
know?
know?
He doesn't like Trump. He doesn't like JD Vance. That's all I need to know to make my decision.
That's why they made him Pope. I'll
tell you something on that. The Vatican used to be a solid supporter of freedom.
Yes.
I mean, in my life, I'm named John Paul after John Paul. I mean, there were 2 popes in the same year, but obviously I'm named after John Paul II.
Yeah.
The Polish Pope, who was there to fight communism, and he really did. I mean, he stuck it to those old.
He was a good goalkeeper.
No, I do, yeah.
He was a great goalkeeper, that guy. The Polish Pope.
Karol Wojtyła, he gave up his job as a goalkeeper to become a Catholic priest.
He should have stayed. He
the
was
bar
great.
is on the ground.
He was great between the sticks. Am I too old for a bikini at 65? Well, she looks all right.
No, yes, you are.
Well,
yes,
she
you are.
looks all right.
Do you know what I hate? Do you know what I hate,
Krista
Asher?
D'Souza. What?
I hate what I call Crispies. Right, have you ever been on holiday and you see the ones that, you know, they look a bit like... God, I shouldn't say this. Do you know how Ian Dale creosotes his face? That, like, their bodies look like Ian Dale's face, right? But they're crispy. You know...
What's
you know,
this, like two Ian Dales looking at you?
No, that would be idiots.
With a COVID mask on.
Nobody understands what a crispy is, but let me explain what a crispy is.
I'm not aware.
When you see these people, and they're not... They were originally white... But now they're a different ethnic minority or whatever. I don't know what they are. But then on their chest, just under the neck, it's crispy.
What, it like looks dry.
This can be seen in Florida.
It looks dry.
Miami Beach.
And you think, listen, love, I'm tempted to throw some olive oil on myself because that's not going to end well. But you know what I mean? Like Mel Harvey from Benidorm.
No, yeah, I do know exactly what
crispy.
you mean. No, I know what crispy is. Crispy. But like, you know, some people, that means that they're having a good life. They're in the sun. They're enjoying their pina colada.
Like onion bhaji, sort of.
Do you know my grandmother, my Greek grandmother? She said to me, Andrea.
She's got to have a crispy.
She goes, Andrea. I can't do a voice probably. She goes, when I go out sunbathing, first day I wear Factor 2, second day I wear olive oil to hydrate the skin. Well, olive oil's not hydro, it's oil. You're frying it. There's no hydro in olive oil.
Yeah.
Did you olive oil your skin?
Of course, yeah. I was like a chicken just lying on some tinfoil in my garden.
Hydro.
Yeah, well, you know.
It must do something. It's not.
Well, it does do something. It fries your skin.
Basted and that.
It fries your skin, of course.
Yeah, but you go brown, don't you?
Sorry, Asher. Yeah. Just to be clear, if you get a chicken and put it in an oven and put olive oil over it, how does that change it? It makes the skin more crispy, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what we want.
You seal it, yeah.
You know,
But anyway, my Greek grandmother saying she hydrated her skin with olive oil. There's no hydro. It doesn't.
But no, if you expose it to the sun, no. I mean,
but it's not hydro. It's like saying I moisturise my face with hydrochloric acid. I mean, there's no moisture in it. It's just hydrochloric acid.
Well, you know, rest in peace, Andre's grandmother.
Right.
Might still be.
She was a lovely lady, actually.
The Daily Mail inside story of Epstein and Trump's 15-year relationship.
So interested in this.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
And after all the meltdown with Musk yesterday, it all kicked off. So nothing will come out, will it?
I don't buy this.
I don't buy this. I mean, come on. He lived in Florida. It's more like the proximity. Everyone brushed paths with Epstein. That's the issue. He was a massive New York socialite.
He was networking with everyone. I think he worked for the CIA. Because he was never qualified in finance. I think he was there to basically film people in dodgy dealings, and he basically got prostitutes for people. Some of them were underage. I don't think Trump's into underage girls. He was into big-breasted blonde women.
I think he could get his own women who are of age.
I think the big problem with the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing is, to what extent was it blackmail and to what extent was it sex offending? So I've got to be honest with you, and I've said this, Samara, Asher, I've said it, and people go crazy about this. I think Prince Andrew is an idiot who just liked money. Right now, I
agree.
I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but also, if my name were on the Jeffrey Epstein list, I mean, I'd never be important enough. Do you know what? I'd stand up and say, so he had my phone number, and what?
Well, that Stephen Hawking was on the list. I mean, what could he have done? But what could he have done? I mean, with his dexterity.
Come over here, you beautiful girl.
I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous, but I have to say,
Hawking divorced his wife and married his nurse.
Okay, player.
When he was going, this morning I watched the sunrise. And you think, you're legend.
He had game. I mean,
legend. But it must have taken him hours going, come over here, baby.
But it might not have even been him talking. Anyone could have just typed anything, and then he was just sat there, didn't he? Who knew? He might have been saying anything.
Can you imagine it was a ruse?
Yeah, well, it could easily be, couldn't it? We'd never know. Exposed to DIY flat jab dealers. I don't know what. Actually, go and buy your own flat jabs, all the rage. The Daily Express, Kemi, Britain being mugged in asylum claims mess. Well, we all know about that.
Wow, Kemi, bit late to the show there. Come on now.
She's vowed to end asylum scandal, claiming Britain is being mugged. The Tory said the UK is becoming the world's softest.
By the way, this is a joke that Stephen Hawking approved of.
Okay.
Did you hear his last words?
Go on.
Oh, yeah.
He approved of that joke.
He was a national treasure, and you know it.
Do you know what's funny about Hawking?
I think it was iOS.
Hawking actually found it all quite funny. Sorry, he didn't find his predicament funny, but he found the jokes funny. Do you remember when he was on Little Britain and he became a transformer and started attacking
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on.
But
That man didn't do anything on Epstein's island, allegedly. Like, let's be real.
Well, do you remember his voice? It was quite basic, and they updated it, and he didn't like it. He wanted his old voice back because it was sort of more mysterious, wasn't it?
Right, so somebody said, Ash, here's an idea. You and Samara nip out for a 35-minute fag break, and when you get back into the studio, he'll not even notice. I'm switching over to the other channel. They hate me. This person hates me.
Martin and Whitley Bear.
No, not at all. Who would say that?
Martin and Whitley Bear.
It was from Patrick
Very
Christie.
hurtful. You've hurt his feelings.
Listen, mate, it's well done, G.
The most
No, I
important...
love him. He's one of my best friends.
He's a great guy.
No, I'll tell you what, that's
But
a
don't
load of
switch
old
over.
crap, right, mate?
Daily Star, who are Daily Star, the most important paper. Lost in space. A better ex-first buddy, Elon Musk, is taking his SpaceX Dragon landing pod away after Trump dumped him. It leaves NASA's astronauts stuck in space. Cry, baby. What's that?
Somebody sent us a diseased foot
That's nice,
photo.
isn't it?
Let's just examine what that
Stephen
is.
Hawking?
What is that? What is
I
that?
don't know, man.
That is
Free racing £3 bet.
that's a like.
I spoke to a friend of the show, Seb Gorka, about this, by the way.
Yeah.
What
did he say about it?
Yeah, he said, "Oh, you're really trying to get me in with this whole space thing, and I'm not falling for it."
Yeah, he wouldn't
We
come on
don't
our show.
care."
Did you talk to him then?
Yeah,
what did he say
I
about
did
it?
speak to him. Yeah, he basically
On
said,
air or off air?
Well, off air, he said he doesn't care, they don't care, they can do without Musk. So it seems like the friendship's pretty much over and done with. I mean, he
But can they do without...
basically, I'm paraphrasing it, but he said that along
But
the
he
lines
owns
of
all
that.
the spaceships. They can't go to Boeing. Boeing can't even do planes.
They can't do Boeing, but I mean, they can just fund NASA. I think it's
Yeah, but
quite...
NASA couldn't do anything. As soon as Musk came along, he's landing rockets upside down and around. You know, NASA could never
but
do.
JD and Trump, I mean, they want to focus on the ground. They don't want to focus on space.
Let me ask you this. So, obviously, what you're talking about is booking guests, right?
Yeah.
So, you phone up Sebastian Gorka, who's a former advisor in the White House.
Well, he is the current
security. Sorry, apologies.
Yeah.
But he says he says we're not willing to appear. Now you've worked in booking for quite a while.
Yeah.
I'm not making jokes, right? Although I could. But
it's a hard game.
Did you get the impression that they're clamping down and not talking, or do you think they're rattled? I mean, what was your impression?
It's crazy because, you know, today I was both talking to Reform and the Trump organization, and you know what, I agree with both of them. Actually, Reform's been very vocal and quite good at getting their message out. They don't cry, they don't shy away from coming on. But Trump, I agree, they're kind of shutting up shop a little bit. I don't know what's going on here. I think they need to get their record straight, and then they need to project it.
Is your impression that this is one of those situations, you can say no, one of those situations where there's a nuclear bomb somewhere in the middle of this and it's not yet been exposed? Because what might have happened, I'm not saying it did, that Elon Musk has run for cover and everyone's shutting up because the thing is about to come out. I don't know.
That's a really good question. I think there's multiple egos at play here. I think that Trump never fully respected Elon in the way that we think that they had this like sort of equal friendship. I think Trump always knew that he was the top dog. Elon was always going to help him and galvanize his campaign. But I think this was always part of the plan. I mean, when you give someone a government department, that's basically a death sentence. Nothing actually happens at those things.
But don't you think Trump is also a bit jealous? Because although he's very, very rich, he's nothing like as rich as Elon Musk and never will be anywhere near him, and he's not really got the talent of Musk.
Again, a good point, but I think it's like Trump's got the charisma, Elon doesn't quite have it.
Well, he hasn't got any,
Elon's got the
really.
money, Trump doesn't have the charisma. So there's a proper breakup going on here, and I think it's something we need to analyse. And I agree with you, Andre, more stuff will come out. I don't know if it's nuclear bomb worthy, but who knows?
So this Kevin O'Sullivan interview, which I apologies I didn't watch, were Errol Musk, who is the father of Elon Musk, said Elon secretly hated Trump. The implication being he had to suck up to him because he was extremely nervous about the danger of Trump damaging, and he said that Trump was evil. And that's the first buddy.
Yeah, but I think he believes in freedom of speech, doesn't he, Musk? And I think he thought this is where, you know, Trump's got the right idea, and I think he's been disappointed with what he's doing with the economy, Trump, because he's going to ruin the economy.
I could not compare...
With a big, beautiful bill.
I couldn't compare what my family experience is to these people. But look, my dad was the boss of a fairly large company. And, you know, he had to deal with politicians of all flavours, and he has to advocate for his business and advocate for his industry, even with people that he doesn't agree with. Is it possible that Elon Musk always thought Donald Trump was an absolute see you next Tuesday, but was just really worried that it would be impossible to globally manufacture if Trump wasn't reined in? Question mark, I don't know.
I don't agree with that. I think that actually there was a father figure sort of scenario with Trump and Elon. Having met Errol, he couldn't even say that he was proud of Elon, and that's a big thing when your son is one of the most successful people in the entire history of the world.
It started with a kiss.
But I'm saying, you know, Trump, he had lots of good words to say about Elon, and so there was this sort of father-son relationship going on there, in my opinion.
But Errol Musk said that President Macron's wife is also his man and his father. So I don't know if you can believe that.
No, I think that's quite unfair because, look, obviously, you know, obviously President Macron has an old friend, but he's got some younger ones as well, and I don't think we should be unfair.
He went to Epstein's other island with the older ladies.
No, let's be. Well, God, I always get into trouble for this. But it's fair to say that, no, we're not going to talk about Emmanuel Macron. What we're going to say is that there was that raid by the FBI on Mar-a-Lago, and they got a piece of paper that said that there was a major G7 leader who wasn't living in the presidential palace but was living with his gay partner. I'm not going to say who it was. Could have been any of them. Could be any of them.
Little breaky here.
Angela Merkel. More next.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
This is the James Whale Show with Andre Walker. So, were you starting?
No, I'm all right. I'm not starting.
I was going to say, people have messaged in about Stephen Hawking's interest in strip clubs. Come over here, baby. I'll put a tenner in your knickers.
Right, the independent Trump Musk has lost his mind and I'm selling my Tesla. He's going to sell his Tesla. Donald Trump is not thinking about Elon Musk and may get rid of his showpiece, the red Tesla Model S, as it emerged yesterday, dashing out to a swift end to their explosive and expensive public food. The thing is with Trump, he does forgive people who call him like Nazi and Hitler. He does actually. It's like water off a duck's back. I mean, is there any coming back, do you think, or do you think this is definitely a nail in the coffin?
He can forgive, but he won't forget, Ash. Seriously.
No, but J.D. Vance was slagging him off loads.
Yeah, but that's so different. I don't think he's ever going to come back from this. We know about the whole phone call with the rapprochement that's going to happen. That's not going to happen. I think that this is brutal. He went there with the Epstein files. Very hard to come back from that. Seriously, Ash. I don't see a way that this friendship's ever going to get back together. They're never doing it.
Because he couldn't trust trust him, could he? What would he do again when he has one of his breakdowns, Elon Musk? And Japan, rice queues bring case for change to the boil. Apparently they're running out of rice in Japan, but never mind all about that. The Daily Telegraph, fears over migrants are a form of terrorism. Well, I've been saying this, we've been saying this a long time.
So
you're
a terrorist?
You're a terrorist. You can this is the best way to send you to. You don't have to go through the airport. You just get brought in, ushered to your hotel, and then you can commit your terrorist attack. So nice and easy for any terrorists who want to come over here. You know, you're welcome. You'll be paid, fed, and then you can go and commit your terror attack. It's unbelievable. Antique expert jailed over Hezbollah finance, and this is a story of BBC bargain. You don't expect to hear a Hezbollah terrorist raising money person on BBC bargain hunt.
You must do expect it.
Isn't bargain hunt now?
No. I'll tell you what's happened.
Hello, bargain hunters.
I'll tell you what's happened before today, and I beg you all to be very, very careful. You know, sending money to causes abroad, particularly things like Palestinian causes, particularly, placed in Ukraine and things like that. There are terrorists who will take the money, and
we all pay for Hamas.
No. Hang on a second. The UN funds terrorism. There is no doubt.
So do we.
There is no doubt. But if you that's not what we're talking about. If you directly send money to these institutions, you will be criminally prosecuted. And I'm going to say, I love this story, and I'll tell you why. Because the number of times where people have cried and said, I didn't realise, well, hang on a second, those go to bullets, Semtex, bombs that kill and maim people. I don't care whether you knew or not. You need to be criminally prosecuted.
Yeah. But also, this is just another BBC host that hasn't been...
Well, he was probably the best that they've had.
Yeah, but this is ridiculous. I mean, come on. The writing is on the wall with this organisation. They never hold anyone to account. It's crazy that he's had to be taken to prison.
If I was a BBC presenter who had committed acts of terrorism by finance, I'd go... Come on, at least I'm not Hugh Edwards. I mean, look, the reality is...
Who's still getting his pension.
That's probably on the better end of the behaviour. You know full well that the BBC hates Jews and hates Israel. You know full well that actually funding Hamas and loving Hamas is not a dirty phrase.
No, the White House has called them out this week, thankfully. But again, no one's going to get fired over this. No one's going to be held to account. That's the issue with the BBC, is that they don't do checks and balances.
I'll tell you what hurts me, and obviously Asher's Jewish, so but. You know, I always think it's someone like me has to call this out. Why are we running our community out of town over this? You know something? You know, wokeism's not British. Uncontrolled immigration's not British. No. All of this transsexualism, let's amputate my child's genitals and sound virtuous, is not British. You know, the Jewish community, amongst others, built this country. Screw these people.
Yeah, but you know behind the scenes how woke it is. If we think that, exactly, but if we think that what they're publishing is not right, or they're publishing fake facts, you don't want to know what's said in the newsroom, because I've got some people and I've heard some things.
I will tell you a fact. The reason the BBC hate Jews, the reason they hate Jews is very, very simple, because Jews love this country. Who are in this country? I mean, clearly French Jews, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you are fighting for this country, if you believe in this country, if you want to do something for this country, if you believe you're part of this country, you're the enemy. And actually, one to eradicate very easily is the Jews, because you could send them to Israel. That's what the BBC is all about, as far as I'm concerned.
Totally. And also, they can't be saved. There's not this white saviour complex that these producers can take to the situation. So I just really think that there's an institutional problem with the BBC, but we, the taxpayer, are paying £174
only if you get a licence.
$50 for this.
No, there is a problem with the BBC because we pay the licence. They don't bother. Lewis Goodall, I mean, come on. The guy's a highly intelligent Labour apparatchik. I'm not, he's got what, first from Oxford? Good intellectual guy, right? But he's not a genuinely independent... I'm not an independent journalist, which is why I work as a political commentator, right? you know, the idea that the BBC Newsnight used to be good.
It used
Do you know
to be
something?
trusted.
Newsnight ran an attack on me. Thank God nobody watches it, right? I mean, thank God there were 4 people in Islington going, he sounds like a bit of a shit. And that was it, right? But actually, you don't have to be popular. You don't have to be successful. All you do is just trouser your money. Lewis Goodall's probably on 200 grand a year. These lot aren't. You're not, right? Oh, let's trouser some money and make a minority sport. I was about to make a worse joke then. I was about to make a joke about somebody else who used to work here. Even less viewers than Trisha. Okay.
Right, M&S sales growth hit after cyber attack. Well, it would do. Growth is still going on, M&S.
Yeah.
Growth at M&S food business ground to a halt after it was hit by a cyber attack. Figures show that spending in M&S food halls rose by just 0.8%
Because they were
in the
hungry.
4 weeks.
They were hungry.
But you had a cheese sandwich earlier. It was all right. Still the same as normal, wasn't it, Chuck? Very expensive. £3.70 for the Wensleydale and carrots.
No, hang on a second. The reason the sandwich was so expensive, it had been in nitrous oxide for about 6 weeks in order to keep
It's been hacked.
I love that. I love
Well,
that.
Dawn French, she's an ambassador for M&S. She's really
Well, I
in the
won't
crowd
be
at the
going
moment.
No wonder they're
That's
not getting
not
any
gonna
profits with her.
Yeah.
They've reduced the amount of packaging.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. But what makes me laugh about M&S is they go, our sales have boomed since. It basically means that there's people in Hampstead shaking, going, I haven't had a stuffed vine leaf in 6 weeks. I need to get it. Like,
We joke about it, but it's completely
No, I'm not
correct.
joking.
It's
I'm not joking.
correct.
Somebody who's been to Asda and walked past a melon and gone, I don't have any sliced melon. I need to go back to M&S.
Right, let's take a little break. You give us a ring, 0344 499 1000. It's the press preview, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
So we were talking a moment ago about Dawn French. And, you know, I'll tell you what we'll do. Why don't we just make it really, really easy and watch this little video about what she has said about a really important issue. We can talk about it after that.
Complicated. No, but nuanced. But, you know, bottom line is no. Yeah, but, you know, they did a bad thing to us. I mean, I don't know, yeah, but no. But we want that land, and we don't know, you know, got all history, and we've got, you know, no. Those people, not even people, are they really?
Right.
No.
So let me ask you this question.
So what the hell was that?
Well, first of all,
She called it a little thing.
I mean,
the
I don't mean to be
rape and
critical
murder
to the
of women and
man,
children.
but she looked like Mike Graham in that video. And Sia, do you know that one?
Mike Graham's more attractive than that.
I agree. But let me just say this to you. I want to ask not just you, but actually the viewers and listeners of this show. When Dawn French says about the beheading, about the cooking, about the murder, about the violation, about the rape, about the machine gunning, about the thing that I saw in the kibbutz, a heartwarming moment by Hamas when they took a photo from a back garden where people had been playing a basketball, and they recreated the photo with the beheaded corpses of the Jewish people that were in the original photo. And Dawn French says, it was a little thing by Hamas. It was only a little thing. I'll tell you what I think, and we can all comment on this. I think you need overwhelming force, because when you see a little bullying scumbag, you don't do what Dawn French did, take your Ozempic and start moaning. What you do is you say, I am not willing to accept you beating up, brutalising our people. I'm not willing to watch you slit the throats of people and laugh. You know what? Get on your phone, Hamas, and enter the Facebook and the Twitter and the social media accounts of the dead and film them whilst they're being raped to send it to their relatives. Do you know, I think that isn't a very little thing. I think that the IDF can make a mistake, and they have done many of those, but I'll tell you something. There can be nothing like the violation of a child. There can be nothing like the beheading of a decent person, cooking a baby in order to stick it on social media to offend the Jews. Screw you, Dawn French. Vicar Dibley wasn't that good anyway. Samara.
110%, Andre, and honestly, she needs to be gone from M&S and whatever ambassadorship she has, because she has the temerity to sit in her probably Islington or whatever London townhouse and say, oh, October the 7th was just that Hamas thing. Are you joking?
Hey, do you know what I think we should do with all of them? I think we should parachute them into Gaza to have a good conversation with these people.
I don't think they know what a female comedian writer is, that's for sure.
Yeah,
especially someone like Dawn French.
So Greta Thunberg, not actually a child, she's just dressed up as one. Greta Thunberg, you know, Queers for Palestine. I would love a Queers for Palestine branch in Gaza. I would love that.
Yeah.
Do you know the thing? Do you know the thing? I think, Samara, and actually, jump in a bit, I think it's cowardice. I think it's remarkable cowardice. I think you are unwilling to sit there because obviously you will lose your job as a media professional if you stand up for freedom. If you believe in decency and honesty, you will get into trouble. The Jews are being run out of town. I think we're going to win. I'm not Jewish, but I think we'll win that. You know what? It's moral cowardice. I'm going to say, cook a baby, and I will personally drag you by the hair out of this country. And if the police don't like it, I'll drag them by the hair. Who cares what these people think? I would rather eat rats on the street than stand there and say somebody who slit the throat of a 9-year-old did nothing wrong.
Ash, what are you going to say to this? Because I feel like you're the one who's...
Yeah, I mean, Lenny Henry was right, wasn't he? But...
I'll tell you what, that bed was thinner than her.
He was fed up of waking up to the crack of dawn, wasn't he? But no, I mean, talking about Greta Thunberg going to Gaza, there was an Italian guy who got through on a boat to do exactly the same thing, and he was celebrating. When he got there...
You're being polite.
He had his picture with... Well, let me just... Sorry. He took his picture with the leader of Hamas, had tattoos, and about a day later he was hanged, you know, and killed. So that's what would have happened to Greta Thunberg.
But
maybe she should have been let through.
But here's why, Asher, I think sometimes... Oh, my God, I'm about to criticise Asher for being insufficiently supportive of Israel. That's the first time that's ever happened in his career. But actually, I think what we need to say here is we need to say, Dawn, the reality is you're a coward. You are not interested.
I think she's just stupid. She's
no,
dumb
she's
as
not.
No,
I don't think she's stupid.
I think she is, because she's taking in what she's seeing on X and Twitter and
I don't believe that. Look, you are welcome to believe that. I don't believe that, and I don't know. But I think Lineker is fundamentally a bad person. Dawn French is fundamentally a bad person. John Bowen, or whatever his name is. What's his name?
Jeremy Bowen. Jim Bowen. No, he was a super smashing great. No, Jeremy Bowen. Yeah.
I think they're fundamentally bad people. And I'll tell you why they're bad people. Because, as I say, I would rather lose everything than defend the people that rape and murder children. I would rather lose everything. I don't want to lose everything. I stood outside the BBC and I said to the police, tear down these walls. And that was because I felt that it was time to debunk these people. You can sack me from anything you want to sack me from. You can make me the poorest person in the country. I will eat out of a bin rather than say that cooking a baby and slitting the throat and raping a 10-year-old is a decent thing. Dawn French and Gary Lineker disagree. Their sofa was more important than the lives of innocent victims. Don't tell me Gary Lineker's a good bloke. He isn't. Dawn French ain't a good person either.
No, absolutely.
And through cowardice. They don't wake up every morning believing they're evil. It's the cowardice that makes them evil.
Well, I just want to know, and I know that the audience can sleep well at night knowing that they don't support this, but I just want to know when left-wing ideology and jihad made this marriage, this arranged marriage, which was, I guess, actually not arranged marriage. No one wanted it to happen, but it happened.
Do you know what's interesting here? You're a producer by trade. Asher was a presenter right from the beginning. I was a contributor before I came here. I will tell you what happens, and this is the most shocking thing of all. You go on Good Morning Britain, you go on Sky News, you go on the BBC, you even come on channels like this, and you will have a brutal debate with a Labour MP going, there's no problem, we need to support the Palestinians, and you say, but Hamas are evil, uncontrolled immigration's dreadful. And do you know what happens? You get back to the green room, and these Labour MPs or Liberal Democrats or SNP or the Stonewall people, they'll go, of course we know you're right, just can't say it.
Yeah, but just learn a lesson.
Cowardice.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but you learn a lesson from Iran. This is where the left collaborated with the Islamists. Once the Islamists got in power, they murdered all the leftists.
But you know why? Because they never have to come face to face with an Islamist. They'll never have to come face to face with a Hamas leader. They probably don't actually interact with many extremist Muslims in their day-to-day lifestyle. Yeah. That's the issue. Well, the issue is they're not exposed to this.
As Asher said, and forgive me, I forget which Labour MP it was, where there was all these crazy, the expert level ones with the beard and all that sort of thing, and Muslim Islamic fundamentalists, and they're all baying for her blood. And she says it's misogyny. I saw this ludicrous thing on the BBC the other day where women were saying, when I go running, men spit at me in the street, it's misogyny. Well, what's your description of the blokes? I mean, is it my brother Daniel? Is it my brother Dominic? Is it Asher? Is it the guys in the gallery?
That, yeah.
But what was amazing about this, nobody said, can you give us a description of the bloke that's spitting you in the streets and quote unquote babbling in a way that I couldn't hear it? Was it in a foreign language, love? Not being funny, right? But this is this crazy thing about it. You know what? I don't think rape culture exists in this country. I don't believe that misogyny exists in this country. I think we're proud of the women that are part of our communities and have led this country. Well, it's nonsense. There are some backward people coming here. Who were the men that spat at these women on the BBC for daring to go out running? Was it your average bloke called Derek? I suspect not.
It's cultural, isn't it? It's a cultural.
Yeah, it is cultural. I mean, there's a certain way that British men used to treat women, and that was the order, and that was how it was done. And yes, there's been a lot of different cultures that have come in, and they've potentially changed that. But I think it's interesting. I think that it's not just about religion, it's about class as well. There is a class element. You know, the UK should be a golden ticket country where if you
it is a golden ticket.
Exactly.
Well, hold on, Samara, because you've only got a couple of minutes left, and you had a direct experience of the great culture in this country. Tell us what happened to you in the last couple of days.
Well,
I saw you with a nice phone, but it wasn't the top of the range one. What's going on?
It was pretty crappy.
My top of the range phone was stolen by a man on a moped.
Snatched.
Snatched. And let's just say, actually, when I tried to give my description to the police, they fobbed me off. They said,
really?
we actually just want to know about the crime. Don't tell us about the description.
Don't tell us.
Just
That's
yet.
ridiculous.
Yes, because I was with a
By the way-
Ukrainian woman who was describing him because she'd seen it. He had dreadlocks. He was a black man.
You were chased by a man with a machete as well at another
I was
point.
also chased by a man with a
thing.
machete, and again, they did not lock him up. They didn't send him to jail. He was sectioned for mental health issues, and he was let back out on the street. And I was talking to the police officer, and she said, it is soft touch Britain. Even if we find this man who stole your phone, who is probably on his 5th phone, he won't be put into prison, he won't be banged up, and he will re-offend. So there's nothing they can do.
This is happening all over the country.
Can I give you a money-saving tip?
Please.
I've got friends of mine who've got personal trainers. If you don't want to pay £40 an hour for a personal trainer, but you want to be chased around a park in South London by a guy with a hoodie, just buy a modern iPhone. Just go, here I am, and they'll just literally run after you.
It's mad.
Why pay? Why you can have it for free? Have it for free.
Isabel Oakeshott, who's a friend of the channel, she works here. Her researcher just got his phone swiped this week. Mike Graham, it's happened to 80,000 people.
I'm sorry. Mike Graham was not running around the park in South London. He only a wheelbarrow. Anyway, they're going to dump that. Okay, so Samara Gill, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So your partner is here tonight, is he?
Yes, he is. He managed to come because I was sort of...
So where is he? Have we seen him?
Honestly, he hides in the shadows
He's
like a
an
vampire.
elusive man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a very elusive figure.
Do you know what he looks like?
Barely, honestly.
Okay, so can he come in and wave?
He wears a burqa.
He's known as the Black Cat, isn't he?
Yeah, Black Cat. He never ever appears, and you know we know our Black Cats around London. I don't even know if he's here legally, Andre. Honestly.
Anyway, get your calls into us. What are you doing this week? Anything else? We've got about 20 seconds. What are you doing on the...
What am I
What are you doing this
Sky
weekend,
News
love?
Australia, our sister station.
Brilliant.
I'm going to get you a ticket for this event.
I'll eat the meat.
It's good. Well, don't eat my meat. Okay, sorry, that didn't want that one. We'll be back in a moment.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, he was in earlier, James Wales. He didn't work that hard for the money, but he's gone home tonight. But he'll be back maybe next week. We think he'll be back next week. He's going to aim to be, and if not, we'll get him on the Zoom. But anyway, never mind all that. It's all about your calls. 03444991000. You can send us a voiceo or on WhatsApp on the same number. You can text us 87222. Text the word talk. Let's start with Deborah in Oldham. Debs. All right, Deborah.
Ash,
yeah,
I love you. You are so sexy.
Have you called him before? Did you call him before?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'm saying you are so sexy. Are you married?
No.
Are you?
What, you want to be proposing?
Well, yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to think about it.
Oh, but do you know when the guy comes? Oh,
sorry, man. I mean, what do you like about me? Is it the jacket from the James Whale collection, available at Foster Menswear?
Yeah, because you put your things by your ears, you know, your hair. You just do that, don't you?
Yeah, I can't help it. It just naturally oozes out of me when I flick my hair and stick my fingers in my ears.
Oh my God, are you on now?
Have you got me on now? Yeah, but LP, are you getting... What's happening? You're getting a bit... Are you married, Deborah? Does your husband know you're on the phone?
No, my husband...
He doesn't know? Is he a big man?
Ash from the...
What's that you're listening to?
Deborah! Oh, dear! Oh, I love you! Oh, my gosh.
Are you listening to... Yeah, carry on, Deborah. Deborah?
Yeah, I did call him before.
You are? No, you're listening to the previous... I'm live. You're listening to the old radio.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you need to turn that down and just listen to me.
Oh.
Are you drunk?
Hang on. Oh, dear. Hang on, let me... No.
Yeah. What?
Ash.
Yeah, hi, Deborah. You're on Talk. Deborah in Oldham.
Yeah.
Should we ban the burqa, Deborah?
Oh, no.
You like the burqa?
No, it's Ash and what's he called who takes over you?
Who? You what?
The one that
the guy that talks over me. Well, there's a couple of them. There's James Wales, of course, the traditional, and Andre.
James Wales, and oh my God, oh, God love him. God love him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Can you describe yourself to me, Deborah?
I am brunette. I am 60. Well, tomorrow.
60 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, yeah. A Gemini like me, we're Geminis.
No, I'm lying. I am 60 on the 22nd of August.
So you were lying?
No, I'm not.
It's not a good start, is it, Deborah? You've got to have trust in a relationship.
Do you know something? I've lost my partner, I've lost my child, and...
You've lost your can?
Oh, yeah. I've lost my child. I've lost my little girl when she... 35. She was 35. She died. But,
oh God.
Do you know something? It's not like oh God, but
it's terrible.
You know I listen to talk radio, and do you know you, Ash?
What?
You so gorgeous. You look beautiful.
Gorgeous. No, yeah, I understand, Deborah. Yeah. So is that so? You do. How long have you been listening and watching me?
How long time?
How old am I?
Sorry?
Oh, a long time, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I come home, I work all day. And
What do you do, Deborah? What do you do for a living?
I'm a cleaner.
A cleaner? Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, well,
I've got my private houses where I clean and, yeah, you know, so I've been there for 30 years.
Yeah.
I've got my daughter who's passed away, and I've got 2 cats and a dog.
2 cats and a dog.
And they're my grandchildren.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
all-
And do they all live nearby, Deborah?
Yeah, all my cats and dogs.
The
are
cats
here.
live nearby, yeah.
Well, they're here in my house. Oh, I love you.
Well, then, look, it's lovely to hear from you, Deborah, and you definitely got to give us a ring again because you sound lovely. So do give us a ring again. Maybe James Wales will be back on air next week, and Andre's here. Let's go to Steve in Warsaw. Steve, do you think I'm gorgeous?
Yes, I love your haircut. I wish I got one like that.
Brilliant, isn't it? So what's going on, Steve?
Well, the thing is, I always watch the show, you know that, but this business with your Dawn French and Lineker, they ought to be blackballed by society, the pair of them.
I know. I mean, Marks and Spencer shouldn't be using her anymore.
Pardon?
I mean, Marks and Spencer shouldn't be using her anymore with her talking, saying things like that. And her Vicar of Dibley, she used to be funny when she was in the comic strip and with what was her name? Not you know, the other one. She was funny with her, but then she did Jennifer Saunders. But then she did this Vicar of Dibley, which seemed to be voted greatest sitcom. Believe me, Dawn, it was crap.
It was.
Yeah.
She's a mongrel, the same as Lineker. They get well known in certain areas, and I think they can say and do what they like, but they can't. Lineker's a total dickhead.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And Dawn French, forgetting what happened in October to the Israelis when they got all killed and shot.
Yeah, well, we can't encourage violence, but you're right. I mean, what she's saying is outrageous, and I don't know. It seems to be a lot from that sort of actor lovey class that seem to be still grasping onto this bandwagon of hatred.
What gets me, Ash, most of all about it, people listen to them, agree with them.
I don't know. Well, yeah, there's a lot of people like her. I mean, it's horrible to think that there's a bit. But then when you see the general public, we only hear from the media and the actors. But actually, when you look at the Eurovision vote, you see the public around the world, they don't agree with it because they've got a monopoly of the media. You know, there's very few media outlets like us that actually speak the truth. Most are like, you know, like we saw in Hollywood and like we see here, spouting crap. So, you know, and they've lost the general public, and we've seen in America Trump coming in, maybe things are changing. Well, they definitely is pivoting over here. We've seen even Starmer saying we're entering an island of strangers. So things seem to be changing. You know, the ban the burqa thing yesterday, she asked a question in Parliament. And it was just a normal question, and Starmer's like, I'm not even going to go down that road, as if it's something terrible, when it's been banned in loads of other European countries and loads of Islamic countries, Switzerland, Denmark, I think Tunisia, Morocco, Islamic countries have banned it. It's not even a religious thing, it's cultural, it's from Saudi, it's from Iran, I think, originally, and, you know, it's just, we're spineless cowards, our political class and media class in this country.
Have all these political people got what you might call some autonomy, as I say? They've done something and they won't say nothing, otherwise they'll get expelled.
It does seem weird, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know why they do it. I mean,
like to me.
Well, the thing is, if you are in that trade, they're worried about being cancelled. I mean, you know, Dawn French, she hasn't done much anyway, really.
I mean, I had a total admiration for Dawn French, but when she's come out with this...
And the Vicar of Dibley. I mean, I lost all... It was obviously Jennifer Saunders was the funny one, although Dawn French was funny in the comic strip. It was really Jennifer Saunders was the talented one, because Ab Fab was actually a funny programme.
They get somewhere in life and think they can start saying and doing what they like. Well, they can't. Well,
yeah, I know, you're right.
Total prats.
Yeah, exactly. And she really does.
Ash has been brought to my attention today about all these so-called immigrants. I might be wrong, I don't know. But it's cost this country so far £46 billion since all this lot started.
Yeah, it will do. I mean, 1,200 the other day arrived, 40 grand each. That's 40 million pounds a year. Well, 50 million pounds a year just on those lot for the year. And obviously a lot of them will be here for life and just be on benefits for life and bring their family here.
What sort of people are running this country to keep condoning this?
Spineless idiots.
Economic madness.
Yeah, and it'll all come crashing down probably pretty soon.
I haven't had a university degree or anything like that.
No.
I'm self-taught over the years, and I see it. I'm on the front line, and I see it. It's economic disaster.
Yeah, well, the university degrees don't mean anything now. I mean, Blair sent everyone to university, and they're useless thickos, can't even spell.
I could get a university degree if I wanted to, or the bachelor or something, the lowest degree you can get.
You could anyway, probably, Steve, but you're not, there is a lot of stupid people getting into universities. They call everything university now. A lot of them are ruses for foreign students, and then they can bring all their family over, and they're not even a proper course. It's just a ruse to get over.
Exactly. I mean, I know a lot of people in Australia. They ring me up, friends like, and New Zealand, and that just kept the mickey out of me.
And what about, because you grew up in Walsall, have most of your mates left Walsall?
Yes.
Which is quite rare, because black country people used to stay there the whole of their lives. I remember Steve Bull for Wolves. People in the black country would stay, but now they're all leaving their own place, their own culture.
Here's one example. A friend of mine. He says, you won't see me round it. This is going back I don't know how many years. He says, I'm leaving Walsall. I'm going to live in Telford. I said, well, what are you going to live in Telford for? He says, to get a proper education for my children. I said, I've had to change my religion to Roman Catholic to get get my kids into this school, where I know they'll have a proper English education. I mean,
yeah, but they had the rape gangs in Telford.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's going on everywhere. I mean,
exactly, it is. Yeah.
Daughters today, and I said there was a murder up the road the other day, and it's a totally lawless country. Because years ago, if you've got a problem, you ring the police,
and they come.
You tell them what the problem was. No matter what the problem was, it could be sorted out within 2 days. That don't happen no more because we haven't got a police force.
No, and as Samara said, if you get them down, if you say they're a person of, foreign origin or they're not interested, they just let it go. And you look at all the shoplifting, look what Greggs has had to do. Putting all their sandwiches behind in a safe. Sausage rolls.
If I had my way, I'd kick all this government out. Yeah. I'd get somebody such as you and Andre, because you're very intelligent people.
Thanks, man, and we would run the country with an iron fist.
Exactly. Once people like you and Andre to run the bloody country, because the way it's been run at the moment is a total joke.
What do you think of reform then? Are you going to vote reform, or what are you going to do when it comes to the general election?
Who else is there to vote for?
Yeah.
Stormer's a total nutcase. The Conservatives, the leader of the Conservative Party, she's a dead loss, and all the shadow cabinet's a total dead loss.
The uniparty.
So if you're going to vote, who do you vote for, Ash?
Exactly. I understand that is sort of the only alternative, and let's hope they are. Anyway, thanks, Steve. Let's go to Hertfordshire Bob just before the breaky.
I was going to tell you my Donald Trump joke.
Go on then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump, he dies and he goes to hell, and at the gates of hell, the devil's waiting for him. He says, "Don, I've always liked you. You've done a lot for the cause. I want to give you a chance to redeem yourself and get back on earth. You've got 3 doors here, and you've got to choose what door. You're going to go through each door, and you're going to choose how you're going to spend if you want to change places with a person beyond the door." So he opens the first door, and it's Barack Obama. Barack's got a pair of swimming trunks on. He climbs up this ladder, goes along this diving board, dives into the pool, swims to the side, and comes out and does the same thing again. He's doing that for eternities.
Yeah.
So, eternity. So Donald thinks, no, I don't like that all that much.
Yeah.
So he goes, right, door number 2. He opens the door up, and there's George Bush. And George Bush has got a big ladder in front of him. He just climbs up it for ages, walks along a platform, down the other side, gets to the ground, and just keeps doing it.
Yeah.
So he says, no, I don't think. He said, well, you got your last door here. So he opens the door up, and there was a bed, and lying on the bed is Bill Clinton. He's stark naked, and he's on the bed. All of a sudden, another door opens, and Monica Lewinsky comes in. And she comes in, she goes up to Bill Clinton,
yeah.
does what she's famous for.
The cigar.
And he thinks, hello, I like the sound of that. So he goes, yeah, I've got to choose this door. So the devil says, you sure? He says, yeah. He says, Monica, he says, you're free to go.
And with that, we'll take a little breaky back in 2 minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
It's Talk. It's me and Andre. James Well was here earlier. He's gone home now. He'll be back next week. But anyway, let's go. You can give us a ring, 03444991000. But anyway, we're giving you the chance to win FIFA Club World Cup final tickets thanks to our friends at DAZN. Here's everything that you need to know.
Hello. Look who it is. It's me, Andy Goldstein. And here at TalkSport, we're gearing up for the Club World Cup in the United States. And to celebrate, we've got 2 tickets to the final in New York on July the 13th to give away. We're going to sort out the flights, we're going to sort out the accommodation, and we're going to give you £5 spending money to spend however you want. How about that?
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, all you have to do to enter is text the word football to 83338. Do that by the 13th of June at 11 p.m, and that's it, you're done. You're in the draw. A text will cost £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have bill payer's permission. Or you can just send your name and number by post to Club World Cup Final Prize Draw, PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, and it must arrive by 5 p.m. on the 18th of June.
This is a TalkSport limited competition run on TalkSport Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
And don't miss out on the incredible giveaway thanks to our friends over at DAZN, and good luck.
Do you know something, right? I'm a bit annoyed about this. And look, it doesn't matter what I say at this moment, but actually, I'd love to actually go to the World Cup final. It's a pretty good thing to do.
It's the World Club Cup final.
Oh, shut up.
You're not allowed to enter. You have to pay,
yes, I'm
pay for
aware
a
I
ticket
can't
with your own
enter,
money.
which was precisely the point I was making.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. Actually, having been to some of these big sporting occasions like Wimbledon, well, we were at Wimbledon.
That was great, wasn't it? We had a
missed lunch.
Can't believe that. That was the most. That's what I went for, really. But it was nice seeing the tennis.
Right. Actually, we've got to tell you this before we go to the calls. We got tickets. Asher and I got tickets to Centre Court, and Court 1, right? And also, doesn't bother either of us, but the guy had his own kosher chef, that is to say specialist Jewish chef and specialist Jewish kitchen installed
Kosher Wimbledon
for our lunch.
Yeah.
We missed the lunch.
We missed it by about
It must
10
have
minutes.
cost- do you know what that cost him for the full Wimbledon?
A lot.
£400,000. The
Yeah.
tickets were like 20 grand. We missed the lunch.
I can't believe. And you know, I bumped
But it was a
into
cash bar afterwards.
I bumped into an American, and he recognised me. And you know, we watched in America. It's quite weird, you know. He goes, "Yeah." I said, "He was American." He goes, "Oh, I watch you all the time." I go, "Oh, you live over here?" He goes, "No, I live in LA." So they actually do. All our American
we're
friends.
big in Hollywood.
Howdy doody, give us
Big
a
in
ring.
Hollywood.
Anyway, Yasmin the Witch has got some predictions for us. Yasmin,
Hiya, darling.
you're all right,
darling.
What's going on,
Hey,
man?
by the way, Yasmin, before we start, I just want to say to you what a good sport you've been in your sparring with Ken the Christian over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, man.
Listen, I really respect Ken, and I think you should have him as a guest on your show.
I think
I wouldn't
that's
go that far.
not. Sorry. You know that moment, like where they go in the ear. Apparently, we've invited him in the building,
Really?
but he won't do it. Also, here's
Why
the
not?
amazing. Here's the amazing thing about
Doesn't
it.
want the attention.
No, apparently it's something to do with vanity, because or anti-vanity. You know when he does all these things, like when he said that Mick Lynch was the supporter of Satan because he was supporting strikes.
Yeah.
He hadn't seen it. He didn't know.
No, sometimes he calls us in. He hasn't even been listening to the show.
That's not true. Well,
And I also think you once had Cindy on, and you could see a photograph. She was talking. You could see a picture of her talking. I'd like that as well again, because I thought that were good.
Yeah, we had her on Zoom, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Predictions.
hang on, Yasmin, can I ask you a question? Do you have Zoom?
No, I don't know what it is, that Zoom, but I did see her on.
Have you got a crystal ball?
Yeah, I've got a few balls.
So just to be clear to everybody, 0344 499 1000 is the number. But if you have Zoom or FaceTime or a couple of other technologies, all you do is, now, I apologise, I don't know the lady who's answering the calls name. Sorry? Shalape is answering the calls. You can say, I've got this and I've got that, and if she can accommodate it, you can come on camera. Absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. Shalape is going to go, listen, if you've got the Zoom, I'll sort it out. She doesn't talk like that because she's a woman, but she is up for it. But she's got FaceTime.
Anyway, Yasmin, you got some predictions?
Have you got FaceTime? Can you predict whether you've got FaceTime or not?
I haven't got that. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so Yasmin.
She's a witch. She won't have any of these devices.
Yasmin, before you go any further, so tonight we won't do it, but just make a note. If you put Zoom or FaceTime, so FaceTime is for the phone or Zoom is for the computer or the phone. If you install either of those, then when you phone back next week, we'll put you on camera.
Okay.
But don't worry tonight. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Well, I'm sat here naked tonight, so I don't want to...
Well, that's why we want you on.
Right, what I want to say is, I have had a premonition this week that there's going to be a meteor shower that's going to hit Earth. The other thing I've seen as well is that there's going to be a big problem with one big cruise ship.
Sorry, there's going to be a big problem with what?
A cruise ship.
A cruise ship, yeah.
The other thing, though, Ash, when I was looking at you,
Yeah.
are one of your sons getting some kind of recommendation or a certificate?
One of my sons?
Yeah,
your son. I've never met them.
Jacob.
Well, one of them is going to be is getting a certificate or something.
No, sorry, Yasmin, I just want to say that Asher doesn't like to talk about his children on the channel.
No, I don't mind.
But
talk
go
about
on.
what's going to happen to my
But
son,
it's
man?
good. No, it's good. It's good, like a certificate of goodness. It's good. Celebration around it. Celebration around it. The other thing I saw, which was weird, when I was thinking of you, I kept seeing Madame Tussauds and all the tourist places.
Sorry, say that again. I can't really hear.
I kept seeing Madame Tussauds And,
Madam,
and all
it's
this
funny because I passed that last night and today, and I did look at
because
it.
Because it's not on an arterial route.
No, but that is weird because I was not normally at Baker Street around there, but I was and I passed it. So what about Madam Tussauds? You must have been locked into my visual cortex.
Probably. But what I did see as well was that you're going to see a spirit in your house in the doorway.
Well, as you know, Ursula Roberts lived in my house.
You know you have issues with your neighbour. It's really good to do this. When you see them, wave at them. But when you're waving, you're not waving hello, you're waving goodbye. That'll be really strong.
My neighbour downstairs, she cuts my hair and she gave me a nice loaf of bread.
She cuts your hair?
She cuts my hair. And
well, I mean, she needs to be locked up.
A nice loaf of bread
Not
this week. Good
acceptable.
old Tricia, but maybe the upstairs ones, they're a bit dodgy.
Do you have a garden that you can use?
Sort of.
Oh, does he have a garden? He has about 18 acres across the whole country.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
All I'm saying is, if you've got a garden, grow a mint pot. Mint pot.
Mint pot.
It's brilliant for
I have grown mint actually in my balcony before.
Fantastic.
Oh, well, in that case.
So that's amazing that you. Why would I grow mint though? What's the meaning of this, Yasmin?
Well, you know that old saying, you're minted.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, money.
So it has nothing to do. So it has nothing to do with the minting of coins. It has something to do with growing fresh mint on your herb garden on your balcony.
Let me explain.
Yes,
Cinnamon
do.
brings in wealth. Cinnamon brings in wealth. Honey brings in wealth. Mint brings in wealth.
So why are you not cinnamoned? Why are you wedged, which is a reference to paper, or minted, which is a reference to coins?
Let me explain.
Oh, come on, we're struggling now, aren't we?
Specific energies.
No, mint doesn't have anything to do with the minting of coins.
Yes, it is, because
here we go. Oh, come on, this is made up.
No, let's hear her out though.
Sorry, but if Asher, if somebody says you're minted, she's saying that has no reference to the minting of coins. It's to do with how much mint, how much herbal mint you have in your.
But maybe it leads to psychologically it might.
No, in Romeo and Juliet.
You look at it every day and go, I'm minted,
Juliet,
and psychologically, yeah.
All I can tell you is that herbs have been used for centuries to bring in energies to help people in
And how much herbs have you smoked tonight?
I don't smoke herbs, darling.
Oh, okay.
Anything for Andre?
Andre, let's look at him. I know it sounds crazy, but I got the round table. So to me, it's going to a function to do with night. Something to do with Knights of the Realm, and that's going to be within the next, I don't know.
So just.
And I also feel, when I'm looking at him, I'm seeing the Tower of London. So when I see
we see that out the window here.
It's like he's going to go to a special. Oh, he's going to be asked to join a special thing. Like Knights of the Garter.
He already is in that.
Don't think they're going to ask me to join Knights of the Garter.
I don't know anything about his energy, but I just know that's what I see. I also.
By the way, you're not wearing a garter. You're currently naked. Tell me about that. So, do you normally get naked just to phone Asher,
Well, she's a witch, isn't she? Witches are white naked.
Let me explain. Being naked.
Skyclad.
It's called skyclad.
Yeah.
And you do it at certain moon phases.
Well, it is a moon, yeah.
You do it so you can feel
It's a
the
full
energy
moon.
of spirit around you.
Or you just can't be bothered wearing clothes.
Well,
Is there
I
a
used
draft?
When I went to a place called Darwin.
Darwin in Lancashire, I know very well.
Yeah, well, have you ever been to the nudist colony there?
Oh yeah,
No.
many times.
Well, I have.
Have you? Is it any good? Tell me what it's like. Tell me about. No, I'm not being funny. Sorry, Yasmin. Going for a nudist holiday in Blackburn is probably not what most people think of as
the naturist.
No, I understand that, but Darwin is in the Blackburn-Burnley area, and I would suggest a nudist colony in Burnley or Blackburn doesn't sound as cool, perhaps.
I am telling you,
Is it good?
Super rich people go to it.
What's so good about it?
Well, when I went, and it was years ago.
Right.
When I went,
I'm up for going. We could make a video for talkTV. They'd have to pixelate my enormous third leg out, but no, I'm up for it.
Oh no!
We could go together.
Andre, if you want to laugh, listen to this.
Well, I don't want you to laugh. I want you to go, hey, that's impressive.
It's really hidden off the road.
Well, it's not hidden, is it? It's perfectly...
It is hidden.
Oh, I see.
And what you do is, you go in, and there's all these sort of, like, wooden chalets.
A rubbing chalet?
Wooden chalets.
A wooden chalet.
They have barbecues, and I was stood there, and there was a man with cooking sausages on a barbecue.
I bet he was, yeah.
Did he have his pants on? You don't want him to cook your sausages with...
And they've got, like, a swimming pool and everything.
A swinging pool?
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Right. So let me tell you one thing. I could understand. I'd be embarrassed. I've never done it. No, Yasmin, I can understand, like, sunbathing naked. Now, as you can see, I need factor 35 on, so I don't really sunbathe anyway.
Use olive oil.
But I could understand why somebody might do that. But going on a nudist holiday with an outdoor pool in Blackburn, it just doesn't. There's no sense in it. So there must be about half a day per. There must be about half a day per year.
It was freezing.
Well, it would be freezing. You'd freeze your
But that's part of it,
things
isn't
off,
it?
but
That's
you've
part
got.
of it.
It was hilarious. It was the best.
Who?
They were playing volleyball, and this woman said to me, "You can take your clothes off, they won't look." I said, "Okay." Took my clothes off, they all stopped playing volleyball. It was like something surreal.
Why do they always play volleyball, nature?
They love that. I'll tell you what. When I went to Mexico when I was 20 years old. Now, I don't know if I should tell this story, but there was a group of girls there who all went topless, and they must have been about 18 to 21, and every day they'd play pool volleyball, and they knew, and all the boys turned up for what we nicknamed the teenage nude titty volleyball contest, because they all go, oh my god, and there was no real skill involved, but I'll tell you, they all jumped out the pool, and it was, and I have to be honest, deliciously pert.
Listen, when you're young, it's fantastic to be naked and enjoy.
No, it's not.
That's why I said Ken should go out naked. You know what I mean? And just lie on Mother Earth.
No, wait, hang on a second. Right. Can I tell you, when I lived on my own, I was effectively an internal nudist. And I'll tell you why. Because, you know, you wake up in the morning, you think, oh, I'm just going to go to the bathroom or the kitchen, and I can't bother putting any clothes on because there's only me here. Right, that's fine. But what you're talking about, which is madness, is to go to a wooden chalet in Blackburn, take your clothes off, watch a man barbecuing sausages, nude, then jump in an unheated outdoor pool, and then sit in the cold water in northern Lancashire. It's madness. It's madness.
Yeah, but we're built different up here, aren't we?
No, you're not. You're not. Oh, come on. It's just going to do you an injury. It's not like going to Spain, right? I can understand going, oh, do you know what I might do, as women do? I'm going to whip my top off because I'll get an even tan. But Lancashire...
Yeah, but in Switzerland, they go out in the ice and snow, jumping.
Yeah, just to jump in.
Anyway, look, Jasmine, we got a message from Anthony Sack. Maybe he's from the Naturist Club. He says, "Can you ask Yasmin about this? We had mint growing at our council house in Dagenham for years. It didn't work money-wise. It did making mint sauce out of it, but did that spoil the spell? Can you use the mints for cooking reasons, or will that spoil the money coming in?"
No, it won't spoil it. But what you should have done was make a mojo bag of it.
Right.
A mojo bag?
Like those sweets from the 70s.
Get the mint and you dry it off, and you put the dried mint into your wallet, and you put, or you can buy dried mint, put it in your wallet, put it in your purse, put it in your bag, and also put some mint under your pillow with a lottery ticket. And
What
then
about a
you'll
mint
get
aero? Does that count? Or is
Can I
it...
beg you, don't buy a lottery ticket. It's a tax on stupidity.
Mm.
Is it?
Well, it's 30 million to one, and look. If you've got £1 to spare or £2, you can gamble. It's no problem, but you're unlikely to win.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be you. Anyway, Yasmin, thanks for your call. Let's go. Have we got a little breaky? Oh no, we got Paula in Halifax. Paula.
Good evening, Ash.
Evening.
You're looking dapper as usual.
Thank you very much. This is from the James Wales collection tonight, this jacket. From all available from Foster Menswear.
Has he been on earlier? Did I miss him?
You what?
I said, was he on earlier?
Yeah,
Did I
James
miss him?
Wales was on earlier. Yeah, did you miss it? You can watch back on YouTube.
It's not so much that. James is going to be on every single week, and he's going to do as much as he can do every single week, as he's always done during his illness. He's had good times, he's had bad times.
I'm very aware of that, Andre. Now, what have you done to your hair? You look like bloody Boris Johnson.
No, I don't think that's very acceptable.
I mean, it's neater than Boris Johnson's because his was all messy.
What have I done to my hair to look like Boris Johnson?
What's he done to his hair?
Could the answer be nothing?
I rang you a couple of weeks ago.
Well,
and I went,
no. Think it through, Paula. Think it through. So those people listening on the radio are going to go, what has Andre done to his hair that makes you think it looks like Boris Johnson? Could it be that I went to Tony and Guy? Could it be Andrew Barson from 10 Years Younger dyed it and styled it?
Did you?
Or could it be nothing? I did nothing with it.
Well, it looks good. I think it looks all right.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
There's no need.
You've messed it all up now.
Look at that. That looks good.
You've messed it all up.
There's no need to shout, Andre.
Well, you just insulted me.
Well, when you mention his hair, he can get a bit like.
You know, I always think if you get to my age and you've got this much hair, you should leave it going.
Yeah.
Gets a bit personal, doesn't he, Ash?
Yeah, don't
You
mention
had a go at me. I never had a go at you for your hair.
You see what happens, Paula, when you mention his hair?
I never said that you had a hairstyle that you could go out trick or treating in. I never said that.
You see what you've done, Paula?
Tight
talking about his hair.
I don't give two shits.
Have you had two shits?
I say it as it is. It looked absolutely lovely 2 weeks ago. Now it looks like Boris Johnson.
Yeah, but he's changed it since
everyone said that. My dad says this looks more professional, and my dad is.
Yeah, that does. Yeah.
My dad is. No, that looks like a Lego man.
Yeah, you should have it on the other side because
blind.
Yeah, do it the other way. No, the other way. That's better. Yeah. There, you see, professional.
No,
yeah, lovely. Look at that.
It's Tresemme, it's professional underfoot. No, that looks like a comb over now. I'm not having a comb over.
Looks all right, that.
No, when I rang you 2 weeks ago, Andre.
Well, let's stop talking about my personal styling.
And I said to you, your hair looks very dapper.
All right, well, thanks.
And I meant it.
Well, I meant it too. What's your number?
And then when I seen you tonight, I thought, what the...
No, you were thinking 2 weeks ago, you were thinking, how can anything be as sexy as this? And you had that little tingle, didn't you? Where you just thought...
Oh, yeah.
You find me very attractive, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Sex on legs.
Right, Greg's texting. He says tonight's Euro Mullins. Is it that? What's it called? Not called the Euro. The Euro Mullins was 208 million, the biggest ever Charlie Mullins prize. That's it. Anyway, 0344 499 1000. Last 20 minutes. We're going to go zip through all the calls. It's talk. Me and Andre in for James Wales. Back in a couple of minutes.
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on the app, on your mobile, the home of common sense. This is Talk.
It's Talk. It's me and Andre James Wells. Show 03444991000. Give us a ring right now and we'll get you on. So you can have your say. Got about 15 minutes left, and then after the show it's Mike and Morley on Talk Sport, and if you're watching, it's the best of Talk TV that'll be on after us, so a lot to choose from there. So let's go and say howdy doody.
No, I'll tell you what we should do before that. Let me just tell you, this almost never ever happens.
What?
We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 8 slots on the calls. That is to say that if you call the number 0344 499 1000 now, you will get immediately through. In fact, if you are the next 9 calls, you will be able to get through to operators to come on the show. We've got 16 minutes left of this show. If you fancy coming on to say something quickly, if you want to say something longer, then you can come on and do that. But let's go to Cindy first.
Hi, gentlemen. I want to say I am dying someday, sometime, hopefully soon, to talk to Yasmin. I have some things in common with her.
You go to the nudist club, don't you?
Can I tell you, Cindy?
You love that wooden shack.
Cindy, going to a nudist club in Florida is acceptable, but in somewhere like Detroit or Blackburn, it's just madness.
I don't think I'd have the gusto or the courage.
Hey, by the way,
to do that.
Cindy, can I tell you a great story? There was a guy who followed me on Twitter years ago. Yeah. I've told this story before today, and he was an American gentleman, and he decided to go on holiday to Leeds in Yorkshire, quite an unusual place to go, but he went there simply because his family were from that part of the world originally. Leeds. And I think a lot of Americans will say, well, I don't really know where Leeds is. I don't know a lot about Birmingham. I don't know a lot about Doncaster. But given my family from there, I fancy going there and just seeing what it's like. Yeah. Anyway, he said when he booked into the hotel in Leeds, at like the Hilton, he was upgraded to the best suite. And they sent him an email saying, my lord, thank you so much for booking in. And he said he couldn't understand this. And when he arrived, he said, my lord, thank you. And he realised that he'd made a catastrophic mistake, or rather his parents had, with the way he was named. Now, an American might not get this, but many Brits will. His surname was Blackburn, nothing wrong with that. For somebody from Yorkshire or Lancashire, first name Earl. So he booked in as Earl Blackburn, right? So, Cindy, what the hotel thought he was the Right Honourable the Earl of Blackburn, right? Who would be quite a senior member of the House of Lords. And he said, he said, when I turned up in my shorts and T-shirts with an accent from Alabama, he said, I think it was very clear very quickly that I was not Lord Blackburn.
Did he get downgraded?
No, he didn't. He said they were so embarrassed that they just let him, hi, I'm Earl Blackburn.
Did he say howdy?
I think he did. He said, I didn't understand why they were so nice to me. He said, but within about 5 minutes, he said you could see they'd realised I was not, in fact, the Right Honourable the Earl of Blackburn.
Anyway, isn't it amazing, Cindy, because we're talking to you on Saturday and you're talking to us on Friday.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
So what's Friday going? What's going on?
Well, I have a little confession to make. My mother is a witch.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's no need to be rude about her. She might be listening.
And I'm not a studious witch by any means like Yasmin. I think I have just these tendencies. And, like, my gift is when I meet people, or even when I see a photograph, I can basically have a synopsis of who you are.
Oh, yeah.
It's really interesting you should say that, because my mother, God rest her soul, read the tea leaves her entire life, her entire adult life, and people used to actually not pay money, but people would come from far and wide to watch her read the tea leaves. And you know what she always used to say? She always used to say, I do not believe I have any psychiatric, what's it called? Psychic power.
Yeah.
I don't believe psychic power exists as a Christian.
She's not really selling it.
And she said, I believe what I'm doing is complete hocus pocus. However, what I will do is I will do your tea leaves, I will look at it, and she said, as the patterns emerge, I will say what comes into my mind.
And she was bang on every time, wasn't she?
And what was amazing about this was people would go, oh, Loretta, I'll tell you what. They were like Lily Savage. Oh, Loretta, I'll tell you what. You know, you are a psychic. You don't believe you are, but you're a psychic. You are, and all that. Well, that's what they sound like in Liverpool at the time.
There's something to this. We don't have it down to a science, of course. We don't know why or how.
I'll tell you what I believe it is.
We do, but we do.
Do you know what I believe it is?
Real.
Do you know what I believe it is? I believe it's two things. I believe it's you making things relevant. So here's the thing you should do. Open up a horoscope, and when somebody goes, read Sagittarius, read Aries. Right, just read the wrong one.
And you can make it apply. You can make it anything.
No, they don't work.
But I'll tell you one thing that I genuinely do believe. I believe that there are many psychics who just have a brilliant sense of intuition and can read people. They believe that some psychics telling them this, but some ghost or spell or whatever is telling them this. But I think it's just they are very good at reading people, and they're so good at reading people they don't know that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you do pick up people when we were talking about the Burka earlier, and you do pick up things from people's faces. You can read a lot from people. There is, subliminal,
but there's
subconscious.
Something more that some people can do and feel and sense, even from a distance. I can.
Like when you look at Ed Miliband, you think deranged, don't you? But you can't quite see why, apart from him playing his ukulele.
Okay, Cindy, we're going to leave it there, but after the break, we're going to talk to talkTV. Talk Radio, News UK's new Israel correspondent. What we're going to do is you, me, and the next caller, Tristan, are going to conspire to do a great piece of work for a great guy. More next.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, so I just want to say something. Last night we had Lois McClatchy-Miller on, who had been arrested in Belgium for doing nothing other than standing up for decency, moderation, and indeed it's crass and disgusting.
Protection of children.
Protection of children to stop them having their genitals amputated. we like to think of ourselves as a family here. Right. One of our best callers has just been recently promoted to being a contributor. He's only done 2 slots as a contributor. But here's what we're going to do. Chuckles and all of the producers. Right, what's going to happen is the National Jewish Assembly has a trip to Israel. They've got 2 slots for journalists, right? And that's all paid for and whatever. And it is an expensive trip because obviously you can go on holiday to Israel quite cheaply, but when they're taking you round and you're going all this sort of thing, right? So who thinks, get the microphone up, who thinks that we at Talk should propose as the journalist to represent Talk TV, Tristan from Southend? Who's in? Come on.
Goodness me.
No,
seriously.
People, as it turns out.
Let's do it.
Let's start again.
We'll
Edit
clip
that
it.
out. Yeah,
We'll clip it. We'll go. No, they're not watching right now. So what Asher and I think is that the most serious journalist that we can propose from this channel is a man who started off as a caller but has become a contributor. And we're going to ask the gallery to see what they think about this. Do we think that we should ask the National Jewish Assembly to send us their journalist on the next trip to Israel? Tristan, yes or no?
Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Seriously, I've never been there and I'm desperate to go. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, why we think we should do it. So first of all, it's pure factionalism, obviously. But also, my view is that you came out as Jewish after the 7th of October. You'd been frightened of admitting it before, but you felt that you had to admit it to show solidarity with your friends and colleagues in the religion. Perhaps colleague isn't the right word. But also, we think you should go because, to be fair, Asher, Johnny Gould, Andre Walker, all of these people, know a little bit about Israel from having been there and spent some time there and whatever. But you're the only contributor who's an emerging talent who actually would come on and talk about this issue and would actually, and the quality of the broadcast would be improved by you knowing more about it.
Oh my God, I'm welling up here. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
We're going to clip that and send that.
Clip that. That should get you the trip. Yeah.
By the way, we're going to clip that and send that to Gary Mond and the National Jewish Assembly. So look, I mean, that aside, look, I mean, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Before I begin, can I just say a huge congratulations to Peter Barnes, who did his first presenting tonight.
I have to say to you, when I discovered last night that he was presenting, I was delighted. Everybody knows that on that was the work that was. We locked horns, but we worked together. This was his chance, and he deserved his chance. And I have to say to you, look, people were pretty disparaging about the choice by management to put him on. Not people in this room, by the way, or indeed in the gallery now, but people were disparaging. I think he smashed it. I think the writing was sensational.
Yeah, I've been sort of like messaging Talk TV for, well, probably about 18 months to try and get Peter a gig presenting because I knew he wanted to. He was
always going to be given his chance, and I think what was great about it was that they gave it to him now, and I think he had that maturity to go into it. But do you know what I said to him in advance? And you do not know terror. You think you are terrified. You do not know terror before, in that 30 seconds before the red light goes live for the first time. It always reminds me of that, what is that King's speech? Like, however it goes, bollocks, it's horrendous. And that red light goes. And Denny Morris, who's the boss of the channel, always said to me, and I said this to Pete, if you survive to the first break, you'll be all right. And I think that's a good point.
Yeah, he did so well. So proud of him. I phoned him after the show to congratulate him.
I don't phone the presents. That's weird. No, I'm joking.
No, he gave me his number.
I know you did.
What did he give you?
Yeah. Oh, really happy. So, thank you for inviting me to Israel.
I haven't.
No, he hasn't. No, you see what you've done now? Under the Trades Description Act.
No, what we've done, Tristan, is we've messaged the National Jewish Assembly. Chuckles, I won't give his full name because he gets annoyed about it. But Chuckles, the producer, he's also supportive of it for the reasons we've said. We think it's a good idea, but for now, you're getting biffed. We're going to Keith in Banbury. Keith, you are on talk.
Hi, Ash. Sorry, Andre. I just keep looking at Ash anyway. But what I need to say, I
can't blame you.
I know it's late, and the reason why I rang is because we was just going off to bed, and my wife had finished her weekend bottle of wine before no work at the weekend, and she said, "Oh my God, that looks like Boris Johnson." And I heard somebody talking about this
You're
earlier.
not going to talk about his her, are you?
I need to know, Ash. Sorry, Andre, your political.
You were looking at me again, weren't you?
Yeah,
here's the weird thing.
At me.
Right, so here's the weird thing about the Boris Johnson thing. So here's what I get. Here's what I get. Both of us use the Oxford University Holy Trinity method of debating. So I understand the intonation. We don't have a similar accent. We don't look even remotely similar. And he's blonde, whereas I'm ginger grey. But I do get you look like Boris Johnson a lot. But I totally think it's wrong.
Yeah, but you've obviously had a lot of communication